Welcome back to episode 206 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. My name is Josh. I'm here with Troy. I'm here with Phil. What's up, guys? This is going to be very interesting, right? It's very late. This is if there's a Gongshow after dark, this is going to be a Troy will explain in a minute. But yeah, this is, we'll see. I think we'll have good energy now. By the time we get to Mailbag, it'll be a little.
I might be asleep.
We might all be. That'd be funny if we just all fell asleep with the record button on. How are you guys doing? We'll start with you, Troy. Why are we recording so late?
We are recording so late because my son had his first state baseball tournament. Yes, there is more than one state baseball tournament. There's another one next weekend. So we had the first one this weekend. Pool play, they went 3-0. So that means we make bracket play. Top two teams in each pool advance. Won our first bracket game. So then we won our second bracket game, right? Yeah, we won the second bracket game. So now we're in the semifinals. And then skies opened up, crazy rain, torrential rains. I've never seen a baseball field so flooded in my life. We took a big 4-hour break. The association that runs this, they were the host, Lakeville. They did God's work and got these fields all ready again after 4 hours. And they had clay mounds, which were covered, but the water came through underneath because it was raining so hard, and clay mounds, when there's water, just melts them basically. So they had to rebuild all these mounds in like an hour or two, but they did it. We got everything in. Our team ended up getting fourth place out of 32 teams, which was very good. We were seeded ninth. We beat the number 2 team, so all that stuff. But even I'll say this, I'm the first to admit, seeding and rankings of youth sports is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. There's websites out there dedicated to this stuff in hockey where you can look up, oh, where's my team compared to all these other teams that no one has any clue what's going on. So it's ridiculous. Yeah. But I just fell for the bait and said that we beat the number 2 team. So whatever. But yeah, it was fun, but a little exhausting, and time to record.
And Phil, that brings us to you. Now, we've only been friends for a couple of years, but what I've gathered about you is you're more of like a go to bed at 8 o'clock guy and maybe wake up at 5 a.m. So how does 11:30 at night recording? How's that going to work for you? Are the employees going to need to stay away from Phil at work tomorrow? Is that what it's going to be like?
I don't think Phil's even going to show up for work in the morning tomorrow. I don't know what's going on. Everyone, Josh had to call me to wake me up for this.
Hey, that's the perks, though. You're the boss. You're the boss. That's the perks you get to do.
I'm always pretty loose on the recording day, right? I'm like, anytime, it's all good. It's all good. But I had a bit of a late one last night, and I had some beverages. So today was a bit rough in general. And then when you postponed it from our regular recording time-ish, I was like, oh, I'll just take a nap. And 6 hours later, my phone was ringing. So the nap turned into a sleep.
Yes.
So I don't know what's going to happen when we're done recording this. Will I watch a movie or something? I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But
it'll be a fun shoot. Yeah, we got a bunch planned. A couple things though, even before we get into it, I got to get to right away. So one of our good buddies and show supporters, Bobby, otherwise known as 86 Collectibles, ever since we did our 16-bit overview for the Allure checklist, and we all mentioned, I think, that we would love to see more legends. He kind of went ham on the bit and has been and posted a bunch of photos to Discord. And Troy, you and I were laughing a lot and just thought that these were amazing. So I got to show a couple of them because we got to do a little show and tell. So he came up with a 16-bit Legends Patrick Waugh concept. You got that? It's very Bobby-esque, very pop art kind of. Love it. And then poor Bobby, I don't think realized that there already is a Wayne Gretzky, but he had his own interpretation on the Wayne Gretzky 16-bit.
Just staring into your soul, Gretzky, man.
Yeah, that's a creep. That's bizarro Gretzky.
I love it, though. These are a little high res, though, for 16-bit. These are pretty good looking. Yeah. The Waugh is my favorite, though. I love the Waugh.
And he didn't stop there. He had a nice little welcome message to formal production of the show here with our Baba Louie, which we had to.
Oh, that's adorable.
If you're listening, I'm sorry. These the visuals. I don't even know how would you describe this. It's just
It's the cover of the book, right? They call me Baba Booey, and it's just Louis on it, and Louis's name pasted
We're
over it.
showing our age on these on that one there.
Younger generation, like who
Yeah.
are these guys? What are they talking about?
So thank you, Bobby, for making my day and posting these images. And then I just wanted to give a quick update on last show. We talked to Richard Fu. If you remember, he pulled off of EPAC the Bedard Young Guns Checklist 101, the Gold Outburst. The cards was sold actually a couple of days ago. After has the new home. Have no idea who it sold to or how much. Anything like that, but maybe we'll see it pop up somewhere down the road. Glad it worked out for Richard. Seems he's a nice guy. Well, a couple things really came out of that. Well, first of all, did you guys see that from the other Bedard from Extended, the first round draft pick card, the portrait,
Yes.
that gold 101 was pulled as well?
I know, I didn't see that one. No,
I think in the last day or so. So we'll see what happens. I would assume that would be more valuable than the checklist, but again, not nowhere near as the base Young Guns. And then I don't know if you followed our social media at all, but it really struck a chord with people, these cards being on EPAC, and how many people don't love that big cards get pulled on EPAC. Sounds like you're in that group too, Phil.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So how do we know? How do we know? How do we know the outburst sold? But we don't know for how much. I want to know how much.
Richard messaged me, and then a friend of the show brokered the deal. So I have.
Oh.
So I know that. But again, I didn't want to ask questions because I felt like it was.
I love it.
Yeah.
A lot of
if they want to tell you, they'll volunteer it up.
Yeah. All right.
All right, just one more quick thing before we get started. A reminder that our show, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast, is a Patreon podcast. That means we rely on support from listeners and watchers like you to help us cover our show expenses. Yes, believe it or not, this show costs money. Produce more and hopefully better hockey card content and fun initiatives, even in a small way, to grow the hockey hobby. It's very easy to support us. You can do it through Patreon. Join on a $1.99 support level tier. It's only $5 a month. You also get exclusive access to the Hockey Cards Gong Show Discord server, where you can see what Bobby posts all day, and it's pretty funny and entertaining. If you support us, just go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com. Click on the Become a Patron link at the top of the page, or go to Patreon's website directly, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gong Show. There's a link in the show description if you're listening to us on a podcast app or YouTube. And then finally,
chips,
Instagram and TikTok profile as well.
I didn't know you could hear that. I was opening
I
the mail.
hear crunch, crunch.
I'm so sorry. It's a good microphone. I'm sorry.
Well, with that, listen up, boys.
Put a couple of dumb Minnesotans behind a mic, sprinkle in a crazy Canadian, and it's a Gong Show Super Show.
That was amazing.
All right, Troy, you ready for the game plan?
I am. We begin the show with the almost greatest NHL player to wear number 6. Then it's our first annual, I think, long requested Hockey Cards Gong Show Nobody Cares All-Star Team. Finally got around to it. People have been wanting to know about it, and so we're going to do it. Next, it's Hobby News, followed by the first installment of What Puts the Glow in Phil's Imaginary Flow. I was hoping I wouldn't mess that one up. Then we take a look at, is the National worth it for hockey card collectors? We then move on to new product releases, and we end the show with the Gong Show mailbag and any personal pickups. Okay, fellas, previously we looked at the greatest NHL player that wore the number that matched our episode number. We ran through all the numbers, so now we're looking at the almost greatest NHL player to wear each number from the runners-up in the Hockey Writers' Greatest NHL Player to Wear Each Number article. The almost greatest NHL player to wear number 6 per the nominees in the Hockey Writers' Greatest NHL Player to Wear Each Number article, and selected by me, is Toe Blake. I feel like we've talked about him a lot lately. He's come up a couple times just on recent overviews, yelling at goalies for wearing masks and all that.
Like Jacques Plante, right? Wasn't that who?
Yeah. So, yeah, Toe Blake's been mentioned quite a few times, I think, on our show. The other runner-up at number 6 was Shea Weber. As a reminder, the greatest to wear number 6 was Minnesota's own Phil Housley.
Oh.
Overrated.
Oh, shots fired.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Overrated. Yeah.
You stop it. Go back to bed.
Go ahead,
Go
Troy.
ahead.
Go back.
All right, we'll get into that debate later. Toe Blake, left winger from Victoria Mines, Ontario, Canada. And I'll say one thing. I see these town names, and I'm like, okay, Victoria Mines, interesting. Look it up. I swear 90% of these Canadian towns I look up are like, yeah, it's been disbanded or absorbed or been taken over by some other bigger municipality. But like a lot of these towns don't exist anymore, or they're a shell of their former selves. Toe Blake played junior and senior hockey in the Sudbury area and was part of the 1932 Memorial Cup champions, the Sudbury Cub Wolves.
You know what I know Sudbury from?
What?
The Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs from Shoresy.
There you go. Oh, there you go.
That's a real town.
Yeah, we do. Shorts is awesome.
Look how happy you are, Josh. That's fantastic, eh?
We're slowly learning. Slowly learning. Toe Blake then played for the Hamilton Tigers of the Ontario Hockey Association during the 1934-35 season before he signed with the Montreal Maroons of the National Hockey League on February 22nd, 1935. Blake played in 577 regular season NHL games over a 14-season NHL career. Blake played one season in the NHL with the Montreal Maroons. He would then play his next 13 seasons with the Montreal Canadiens. And I don't remember the history, but I think at some point, didn't the Maroons kind of get absorbed into the Canadiens, like the same ownership group? Might have bought them both. I can't remember exactly, but I think that's kind of what happened. But they were
Bill,
separate
you're
entities.
Canadian. You tell us what happened.
Yeah, you tell us everything about Canadian hockey.
That's not fair. I was hoping it wasn't going to come to me. I don't know much about Toe Blake and the. I didn't realize he's that old.
Yeah,
this is like older than Henri Richard. This is old. Yeah, I don't know.
He was their coach, I believe.
Oh yeah,
that's what I know. That's more what I think of the hat and the glasses.
All right, here's his awards and accomplishments as a player. He's in the Hall of Fame. I guess that's both Hall of Fame player and coach. 3-time Stanley Cup winner as a player. 1-time Hart Trophy winner. 1-time Lady Byng winner. 3-time NHL first All-Star team selection. 1-time NHL All-Star second team selection. Named to the NHL's top 100 players to ever play the game in 2017. For his regular season career, Blake had 235 goals, 294 assists for 529 points. Blake made the playoffs in 11 of his 14 NHL seasons, compiling 25 goals, 37 assists for 62 points in 58 NHL playoff games played.
That's not that good. 529 points. Don't we talk about people with over 1,000 points?
You got to remember, though, back then they only played like 40-some games a year.
Right.
I remember I did the same thing. I was like, this ain't that good. But he was almost
the puck was made out of lead.
All right. Yeah.
Well, he was a point per game player in the playoffs and then close to a point per game in the regular season. But yeah, they didn't play that many. They only played 40-some games. So half
he wasn't as good as his cousin Finger Clark.
Let that sink. Let that one sink in for a bit. Okay. I love it. Best regular season of Toe Blake's career from a point standpoint was his 1944-45 season, where Blake had 29 goals, 38 assists for 67 points in 49 games played with the Montreal Canadiens. Toe Blake is a legendary name in the game of hockey. He was an all-time great as a player with the Canadiens and was their captain from 1940 until his retirement in 1948. There it is. That's a picture you're probably his retirement from the NHL as a player. Blake turned to coaching. He was named the Montreal Canadiens head coach in 1955. He would hold that position for 13 years. As the head coach of the Canadiens, Blake coached Montreal to 8 Stanley Cup championships, 5 of those being in his first 5 seasons as the Canadiens head coach. I think that's a record that still stands, winning the cup in your first 5 seasons as a head coach in the NHL. Pretty good.
It is pretty good, but it's a whole 6-team thing, right? Where there's 30
more
teams.
By then. I don't know. We should know this, but we don't. And someone will write.
We're done.
They'll give us a great explanation. We'll be like, okay,
and then we'll forget.
Yep, exactly. All right, for fun, interesting facts. Nickname the Old Lamplighter due to his skill for putting the puck in the net. More on his nicknames in a minute.
Okay,
Blake?
I was gonna say something, but thank you for. You see, I think you know what I'm gonna. You know me, So that I think you put more in his nicknames because you knew
Oh,
I
yeah.
was going to be like saying something there.
I'm tired. I'm trying to get through this. I'm trying to
Try
think of all these
Troy, we're
questions. ahead of
15
time.
minutes into a very long show. So if you're tired now, we're in trouble, buddy.
it's
the
gonna be
We need you
quiet
to.
part out loud.
All right. Blake was the first Canadians player to win the Lady Byng Trophy when he did it in 1945-46 after incurring only one minor penalty during the season. So good for him. While playing with the Canadians, he was part of a trio called the Punchline with Elmer Locke at center and Maurice Richard at right wing. During the 1944-45 season, the Punchline became the second set of line mates ever to finish first, second, and third in NHL scoring in one season. Locke had 80 points, Richard had 73, and Blake had 67. They followed the Boston Bruins Kraut line of 1939/40, Milt Schmidt, Woody, I get this name wrong all the time, Dumart, and Bobby Bauer, and would be followed by the Detroit Red Wings production line, I love that name, in 1949-50, which was Gordie Howe, Sid Abel, and Ted Lindsay.
Gordie Howe or Go Ride Howe?
Oh, I did the dyslexia thing and it put the letter. Yeah, it says Go Ride Howe. Go Ride Howe. Gordie Howe. Blake's 500 regular season wins as the head coach of the Canadians is still the most in Canadians history.
Wow.
And finally, it's pretty good. Toe Blake's real name is Joseph Hector Blake. Toe is a nickname. His nickname came from a childhood experience. His younger sister had difficulty pronouncing his name, rendering it as something like Heck-Toe. So H-E-C, and I know what it sounds like. Don't anyone say it. Family show. Heck-Toe. Thus, the nickname Toe arose.
I didn't even get it.
Well, some people are getting it right now, and just family show. We'll leave it at that. So there it is.
I don't think I would love
families are made though.
Toe. That's it. And would you like that nickname, Phil?
No.
Toe Marsh?
No, it grosses me out kind of. Toe Marsh. Oh, sounds gangrene.
Yeah, so that's our boy Joseph Hector Toe Blake. All right, his rookie card, kind of interesting here. So it's a 1937-38 OPC V304E number 160. Now there's two versions of this card. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to show them both. There's the blue version, or the blue border version, we'll call it. And then there's also this one, the purple version, or purple border.
Ooh, parallel.
Yeah, a little parallel action.
Parallel.
Well, it's not really parallel. Here so the Bible came in handy. Bobby Burrell's Vintage Hockey Collector. And here's what it had to say about this. There are two different wrapper variations. One is dated, which strongly suggests that these cards may have been issued in a second print run the following year. Interestingly, the two different colored cards match the identically colored wrapper variations. The date on the envelope being December 9th, 1938 confirms our belief that they repeated the cards for 2 years. Possibly the blue cards came first, followed by the purple cards with the second printing. So if I read that correctly, the 37-38 OPC they kind of did it twice. Maybe didn't know what to do for one of those years and just said we're going to run it again. So that's where we get maybe the blue and the purple versions of this card.
Was the set so nice they did it twice?
So nice they did it twice. I love it.
How does Bobby learn all this stuff? I have a hard time researching sets from 2019.
When we get him on, we're going to get him on eventually. We keep saying this. When we get him on, I have so many questions that, when is the updated version of this coming out? We need it. I want him to do every set from where he stopped. Maybe call it Modern Hockey Collector or something. Maybe he's working on it. Who knows? Okay.
Do you guys like this card?
I think it's very interesting as a historical piece of hockey.
It does nothing for
No, it's not. The design is kind of weird.
What's a 3-inch by 3-inch square?
It's close. I think he said in the book, he actually says what it is.
Okay.
But what I just boggles my mind is they thought, okay, I'm gonna put this dude in the back, like this silhouette of a cartoon character in the back.
I didn't even notice that. What's going on back there?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So if you're watching on YouTube, there's this drawing of a guy, a hockey player. It doesn't make any sense. There's Toe Blake's in the middle, picture, and then there's like this facsimile auto running, I don't know, diagonally up the bottom left of the card. It's kind of odd.
You don't seem like you're a big vintage guy, Phil.
I like the vintage that I like, and I'm picky about it. That's too old for me. That's too old for me.
All right. So at PSA, it looks like. So I was like, okay, do they differentiate between these? They don't. It looks like between the two colored versions. If you're watching online, I have the purple border up, and there's nothing on the slab that differentiates it. Same with the blue. It's just that's what it is. There are no PSA 10s. The highest graded copy of one of these cards is a PSA 7.5 with a pop of 1. There's only 78 graded copies of these cards all time at PSA. The most graded copy is a PSA 4, which has 17 grades. So looking at sales, a PSA 2 copy of this card, which was the blue border version, sold on eBay and verified in Terapeak on June 19th of this year for $825 US. So that's a PSA 2. But a PSA 7 copy of this card, and I could not find a picture of it, so I'm not sure which colored border it had, sold via eBay, verified in Terapeak on May 6th, 2000. I think that's 23. I think it's 2023 for $5,288.88 US.
Holy crap!
So big money for that one. Couple things. Louis has been giving us some updates. Notice the PSA labels. They say Hector Blake on these rookie cards. On other cards, they'll say Toe as he got later in his career. But these 37s say Hector Blake. And then with our Maroons and Canadians, financial difficulties resulting from the Great Depression led to the Maroons suspending play after 1938. Despite efforts to revive the team, the franchise was canceled in 1947, leaving the Canadians as the sole NHL team in Montreal. So there we go. So that's
Baba Louie.
Baba Louie. There we go. Joseph Hector Toe Blake. There we go.
Good job, Troy. You made it.
Made
it. That's your goal.
You did great, Troy. I thought it was great.
I'm sleepy.
Beautiful. Okay. I'm not going to have any problem finding energy for this one.
Here we go.
Very exciting moment for me in our show. I've been looking forward to this for a very, very long time. Now, we generally leave it to the NHL and sports writers and general managers, whoever tends to dole out all the awards, all the trophies at the end of the season. But there's one very obvious category that's been missed, and since there's a hobby tie into it, we've decided to step in, sacrifice our time, conduct minutes and upon seconds of research, and present to you the hobby, the very first annual Gong Show Nobody Cares First Team All-Stars.
There we go. We got a nice trophy.
Beautiful.
Now, if you're not watching on YouTube, it's a hockey player in kind of the thinker pose. I'm guessing what you're going for. Was it Rodin's thinker, this famous sculpture?
Yeah.
He looks like he might pop out a stinker too. He's kind of squeezing there.
He just looks like he's sitting on something.
All right, Phil. All right.
Toilet.
All right. Well, okay, so now we got to go over some ground rules that we can reference tomorrow when we get the inevitable landslide of hate and bitterness that's coming our way.
Yes.
You have to understand that the whole to qualify for the Nobody Cares team, you have to be an amazing player.
Yes.
So we're not saying any of these guys suck, right? We're actually saying the exact opposite, that they're really, really good. Just for some reason, the hobby flat out doesn't care, and we'll kind of get to that. So a minute. So they're all fantastic. We all admire them. And we also don't think, we're not saying that the hobby shouldn't care. We're just saying it doesn't. And the other thing to know is that these picks are all based on their stellar performances from last season. It's a season award. We're just reporting what we see. We are hobby journalists, after all. I don't know if you knew that, Phil, but you're now a hobby
journalist.
Where's
my credentials?
Absolutely. I want to be a field reporter with the microphone and the hat and everything.
To it.
You want free passes to Senator.
Yeah,
That's right.
You want like the media.
Yeah.
Well, Baba Louie at the expo, they gave him a media badge, and I saw him beaming from, he wanted that thing around all weekend. And again, we're hobby journalists. It's an honor bestowed by no one, but an honor yet we take very seriously. So with that being said, please address all hate messages and care Baba Louie here at the Gong Show. We excited, guys? Were we ready for this?
Let's do it.
Okay, we got to start with forwards.
Yep. This one's
Okay.
easy.
The first selection for the Nobody Cares All-Star team is Nikita Kucherov. Now this is important to know, he's the only unanimous selection chosen for the Nobody Cares first team All-Star team in 2024. Kucherov led the NHL in points last season with 144. He had 44 goals, 100 assists. Only Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Bobby Orr, and Connor McDavid have ever recorded 100 assists in a season. He was the Hart Trophy finalist. Had previously won the Hart Trophy, though. 2-time Stanley Cup champion. Has averaged 1.2 points per game in his career. Just 31 years old, right? So still has plenty of prime seasons left. So it's got to be. Led the NHL in points, Stanley Cup champion, Hart Trophy winner. Of course, he's a Hugh Hobby start, right? Nope. Nobody cares. So you got last month, only 300 Kucherov cards sold in public markets. That is less than Spencer Knight, Marco Rossi, Dustin Wolf. It's half of Nick Suzuki's sales last month. And even less than Steven Stamkos, who we have long said nobody cares about in the hobby. In the first half of this year, just 7 Kucherov cards have sold for more than $1,000 US. There's been 1,547 Bedard cards that have sold for more than $1,000. Yeah, so
this next point's the killer, right? This just gets me so much.
Can you repeat the 100 points? What was the first stat there? That was pretty wild.
100 assists, right? Only
100 assists. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Gretzky, Lemieux, Orr, and McDavid this year. So we had 2 guys.
Yeah, that's an insane stat. Like you say that in 50 years, they'll be like, "Who? Nikita? What?" they don't know. He's so boring. There's nothing to him. My dishwasher has more personality than him.
Ooh,
I don't know about that. He's come out pretty. Remember the All-Star game?
That's no personality. He's just slouched over. He's like, what is he, too cool for school? Come on,
going
man.
out skating around like it's just him out by himself, not even caring that there's like a speed component to this thing.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't think he's just not.
We've
not interesting. He's boring.
Well, we've had a lot of discussion. I think, well, not a lot, but some discussion in our Discord. People are just like, I don't like him. He's just kind of a donkey. I'll say it because I don't want to say the other word.
But McDavid's boring too, but everyone loves him. I don't know.
Sure.
Is it Russian? Is it like I don't care. Like I love
Ovechkin.
Yeah, I know. It makes
people love Bure, right?
Yeah, the Russian Rocket. Yeah.
All right. Well, Nikita Kucherov is a 2013-14 Young Guns. His PSA 10 popped 491, 58% gem rate. Last sold for $463 on July 4th. I mean, think of like that compared to Austin Matthews or something like that, right? It's just like it's less than half. It's up 14% in the past month, but still down 22% in the past 3 months. So Nikita Kucherov is the first forward named to the 2024 Gong Show Nobody Cares First Team All-Stars. All right. Now, the second forward is Mikko Rantanen. Past 2 seasons, he scored 97 goals. He had 55 in 2022-23, 42 goals last season. He has 4 straight seasons of 30 or more goals also. He's put together back-to-back 100-point seasons. He's the Stanley Cup champion, one of the premier scorers in the NHL, and just 27 years old, so could even go up a notch or 2 from here. But does the hobby care, Phil?
No, he actually has less sales than Kent Johnson.
Yeah.
Reading the flyer.
It's tough to be the second wheel on a team in this hobby, but when you're the third wheel, like Rantanen is in Colorado, it's almost impossible to be a big chase. And I don't see him jumping ahead of Cale Makar or Nathan McKinnon anytime soon either. Now, less cards were sold last month for Rantanen, only 292 on the secondary markets, and this is per the Card Ladder sales history. It's not a math show, guys, but this isn't a math show, but that's less than 10 sales per day in the whole public markets for the hobby. There's been 1 Rantanen sale this year north of $1,000. So unless I don't even. Oh, I think it was his Golden Treasures.
Oh, okay.
Oh, for like $4 or $5 grand.
I kind of feel bad for him now, and they have they got nice Avalanche patches, so there's no excuse like Tampa. Like no one really cares, Poor guy.
I honestly think it comes down to the third wheel.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's very accurate.
So Mikko Rantanen is a 2015 Young Guns PSA 10 pop count of 1,132, 46% gem rate. Last sold for $106 on July 12th. It's up 42% in the past month. So I don't know. Maybe one person cares because it's typically selling around $80. Again, this guy's he's last couple years, he's 55 and 42 goals, back-to-back 100-point season, Stanley Cup champion.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, there's
also,
I was gonna say there's obviously there's like top 5 Mikko Rantanen collectors out there, they're laughing.
Yeah.
Costs like a tenth of a PC, and they got big bangers in their PC, right? So
well, you're right. That's a great point. That's the flip side of all this is that it makes collecting your favorite player very inexpensive. Could this be the worst Young Guns photo of all time?
yes,
I hate this photo.
I don't even think it's that bad.
uncomfortable.
What? What?
I don't think it's that bad. He's just playing hockey.
Zoom in on the eyes.
What on
Oh, the eyes. Look deep into his eyes, Troy. Look deep into his eyes.
Yeah, he's looking at the puck.
I'm uncomfortable. No, he's looking in our soul.
I don't think
What's
7 foot.
What's
Dutch
creepier,
boy.
that photo or Bobby's Wayne Gretzky photo?
Gretzky for sure.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Neither.
Do you need a reminder? There he is.
Oh, that's so weird.
Okay, so now we have Nikita Kucherov and Mikko Rantanen. Now for the third forward, this was the toughest for the Council of the Hobby Holy to select. We had to go with Philippe Forsberg, though. He had 48 goals last year, and we were pretty certain nobody cared in the hobby at all. And plus, he's got an awesome mustache. You used to have a mustache, Phil. What happened?
Oh, why do you gotta hurt me like that, Josh? He spells his name incorrectly, though. He spells it with an F.
Okay. Well, is he Finnish or Swedish or something-ish, right?
He spells his name incorrectly, is what I know.
Okay. Well, and the thing, too, now, again, this is just a 2023-24 award, but when you go back, Forsberg's been a pretty good player for a number of years now.
Mm-hmm.
His 48 goals last season was 6th in the NHL. 94 points led the Predators in 2023-24. Did you guys know he's the all-time franchise leader in goals
Really?
for them? Yeah.
Interesting.
And if you really want some evidence as to why nobody cares, only 158 Forsberg cards sold in the secondary markets last month. That's about 5 cards per day total. And what's really kind of confusing, too, we've talked about this a little bit lately. While Smashville is not a great hobby market, it is a pretty good hockey market. And so I'm kind of curious as to why there isn't a bigger collector base there. And I don't know, maybe now with all the new additions and big signings this summer, like Stammer and who else do they pick up? I forget now. But maybe they'll get a little bit more hobby exposure, but probably not. That's crazy, though. Almost 50 goals. And
I didn't know any of that. Yeah, that's wild. I didn't realize he was that good.
Marcia Show. I can't say his name.
Oh, yeah. Marcia.
So he what's the relation with is that his dad?
Peter?
Yeah. No,
No.
nothing. Just it's a very common name, right? Like Carlson.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Why are you saying terrible? Terrible.
Their jerseys are a little pooey as well, right? Maybe like I'm not a big fan of their like kind of looks like bile, like the brown. It's not a nice brown, beige. Maybe that's why his cards don't sell well.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, Louis is gonna look up. Okay, Louis was back in producer chat. He was saying the Rantanen and Young Guns is terrible. Louis, look up and see if Forsberg is related to anyone too.
Yeah, we have Louis power. I keep forgetting
Louis power. Okay, so that's our forwards. How do we feel about?
Oh, did you go over his Young Guns?
Oh yeah. Sorry, Young Guns. Forsberg is a 2013 Young Guns PSA 10 pop, just 191, 67% gem rate. Last sold for $82 on June 16th, down 9% in the past 3 months. So
he's that old. 2013. What draft was he in? 2012. That's the Yakupov year. I think.
Yeah, 2012, 11th overall.
Oh man, imagine picking Yakupov over Forsberg.
Well, check this out. Here's the top 5. It was Yakupov, Ryan Murray. I can never say his name. Alex Galchuk, Griffin Reinhart, Morgan Riley. That was the top 5. And then you got Hampus Lindholm, Dumba, and keep going from there.
Dumba was
that's not a strong draft.
No.
I have a confession to make. I have a little bit of an addiction, and I'm not proud of it, but there is a whole oceans full of YouTube channels that are police body cam.
Oh,
And I watched today the arrest of Alex Galeniachuk or whatever, however you say his name. I can't.
It's been a while. I can't say it. I can't say it.
He was he was super wasted and was like threatening to like murder the police officer's family. It was pretty
that's
disturbing.
not good. Yeah,
to
say the least.
You need help.
Send me the link. I want to watch.
Now you can go on YouTube and watch it. And he's like, I'm a hockey player. What do you say? I make 10 sheets, whatever that means. Something like that.
Oh,
but yeah. Okay. Now we're going to move on to defensemen. So we got the forwards wrapped up. And we're going to stay. Hold on.
Breaking news. Forsberg is not related to Peter Forsberg or Ottawa Senators goaltender Anton Forsberg. No relation.
Okay. Thanks, Louis.
Okay. Now we're moving on to defensemen, and we are going to stay with the Nashville Predators. And I think just as much of a shoo-in as Nikita Kucherov.
Yeah.
If there was ever a Nobody Cares Hall of Fame, which there probably will be because I love doing this so much, this guy would be a shoo-in. It's Roman Josi. Now, Phil, let's see if this blows your mind. Incredible hockey player, and does what we say for what we want for in the hobby for a defenseman. He scores a lot of points. He might be the most consistent point producer in the NHL on the blue line. His 23 goals last season led the NHL for defensemen. His 85 points was third in the NHL. Over the past 5 seasons, Josi ranks number 1 in both goals and points from the defensive position. So, Troy, why does nobody care about this guy? And we love our Cale Makar because he's offensive. We love Quinn Hughes, and the guy who actually has been more consistently a point producer, nobody seems to give 2 hoots about.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It could be the Nashville thing. Fun fact about it, it's the only 1-of-1 I've ever pulled. It was like a Roman Josi card that sold for like, I don't know, $200 maybe. No one wanted it. Made me feel sad. But yeah, no love for our boy Josi.
You have
almost
any
had 100
answers,
points. He almost had 100 points one year. He had like 90 something, 96 or something.
He's Hasselhoff's one of Hasselhoff's favorite players in the league, so I hear a lot about Roman Josi all the time. Yeah, I didn't realize he had no 1K sales ever. That's crazy. I'm telling you, it's the Pooey jersey.
You don't like their unis?
I don't know.
I like their but it's yellow. It's not beige, right? It's yellow.
I'm pulling at straws here. It doesn't make sense. I mean, we got 2 guys, two players here that no one's collecting on the same team.
Well, it's kind of interesting. I mean, just as we're going through this list, Russian, Finnish, Swedish. Josi's another. Is he another Swede or is he Finnish?
One of the 2.
Josi is Switzerland. Sorry, Switzerland. So I'm curious. It's kind of interesting that they're all like foreign, not Canada or USA.
Maybe they're not big collectors over there because isn't the culture a little more like
we don't. The Swedes are
you only
Scandinavians. We get a lot of listeners over there, so there's kind of a market, but obviously we're not like just because some people over in Sweden or Finland will listen to our show doesn't mean there's a huge hobby market. But
we like spending money more in our culture, I think, than them, right?
They're taxed. They got a lot.
Well, Canada here taxed out the wazoo. Yeah.
I saw you did an Instagram story where you bought a card for like $350 and you paid $160.
It absolutely enrages. I got 2 cards the same day. One was like $380. It was just a Brady exquisite card. I can't stop buying them. And that got me taxed $165. And I got re-taxed what the taxed eBay charged me already on platform. And then I got that Hasek I picked up for $550. Nothing. Just right to my mailbox. Nothing. Yeah, it's just unbelievable. Good. Okay, moving on.
Well, just 230 Roman Josi cards sold last month in the secondary markets. Again, per card letter sales history. And Phil had already mentioned 0 sales of more than $1,000 this year so far. Or I think I'd ever on there, maybe ever too. I'll have to clarify that. But yeah, still, I mean, just nobody cares.
That's insane. That's a crazy statistic. Poor guy. I feel bad for him now.
Roman Josi is a 2011 Young Guns PSA 10 pop count of just 60, 36% gem rate. Last sold for $183 on July 15th. It's down 55% in the past 3 months. Yikes.
Oh my gosh.
Holy moly, man.
This is sad.
Okay. Well, we got another defenseman. So, again, 2024 Gong Show, nobody cares, all-star first team. Adam Fox. Now, do you guys remember when the hobby vibes were all about Cale Makar and Adam Fox?
Was that?
And then do you remember when the hobby vibes were just Cale Makar?
So I want to say, was it like 1920 where it's like, oh, Adam Fox and Makar, and then it just seems like Fox kind of slowly faded into the background a little bit.
He's really good. Have you seen him play? Good. He's excellent.
Yeah, he's very, very good. And like I was going to say, it's not like he's been bad. He's been pretty good. In 72 games last year, he had 17 goals, 56 assists for 73 points. That was good enough for 5th in the NHL in both goals and points. Plus, he missed 10 games due to injury. So had he played a full season, those numbers would have probably been a little bit higher too. And I would think that if you made a top 10 list of NHL defensemen,
yes,
I'm pretty sure he'd be on just about everyone's top 10 list.
Yes.
And I think in a lot of cases, probably in the top 5, wouldn't he be? I know, Phil, you'd have Jake Sanderson on there, but
yeah, watch out, everybody.
Oh yeah, he's definitely. I mean, so he won a Norris Trophy, right? I think he did. Hold on, let me look. Yes, he did. He won the Norris in 20.
You don't have to look, Troy. We have producer Bubba Louie.
I know. I gotta get out of this. Like, I'm used to being like, I wasn't a producer, but I'm used to always like trying to look stuff up while I talk and screwing everything up. Then, but yeah, no, I don't know what's up. I mean, Fox is one of the best defensemen in the league. He's had. I just saw this too. He's had 3 straight seasons, almost 70 more points. The guy can produce points. It's all assists mostly.
Average.
Well, he plays in a huge market,
Yeah.
original 6 team. I don't know. Is it just Makar and the whole Hughes thing that there's not a lot of room for, tons of hobby stars on the blue line, and then you've had Cider coming and you got Owen Power that's kind of taking some attention, and we got brother Luke this past year, and our boy Brock Faber. So I don't know if he's gonna get lost in the sauce more or what.
Well, I mean, if his goals are trending in the right direction, I mean, career high last year, 17. So that's good to see. But yeah.
Only averages about 10 sales per day on public sales markets. There's been 1 sale over $1,000 this year, and that's a dual auto with Shesterkin. So we have to
call that, has to be called like the Mark Messier Award or something. Not the leadership award, but we got to do our
hobby buddy,
Mark
ultimate
Messier.
hobby buddy,
ultimate hobby buddy. Yes.
Yeah. And you look at like, now again, it's Faber's rookie year, so there's going to be more interest, but half the sales of our guy Brock Faber, right? Mm-hmm. And just not a lot of interest for Adam Fox. And Fox, of course, is a 2019 Young Guns PSA 10 pop of 1901, 59% Jeremy last sold on July 16th for $66 US, down about 23% in the past 3 months. It's pretty brutal for when you got like $30 in grading costs. And yeah,
maybe it's the 1-syllable names like Adam Fox. It's not fun to say, Well, Brett Hull, people collect Brett Hull.
First North American on our list too, and the next guy.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that brings us to goalie, Troy's beloved category. Sure. Tough call for our first annual Gong Show Nobody Cares All-Star First Team at goalie, but we've talked about before how kind of a goalie has been superstarless right now in the NHL.
Don't buy goalies. Just go away.
But if you really think about it, though, like who would be the Martin Brodeur or Patrick Waugh or Dominic Hasek in the NHL right now? I don't think there is a superstar goalie.
No. Even in the last 10 years. Oh, Carey Price.
Carey Price, maybe.
Yeah, but isn't he like quasi-retired for the last couple of years?
I'm just glad we're not talking about him anymore.
There you go. And there's a bunch of good goalies for sure, but I just don't know if any are great. And I think that's a little bit reflected in the hobby market as well. But getting to Thatcher Demko, our selection for the 2024 Nobody Cares All-Star team, is he finished 6th in the NHL in save percentage, 7th in goals against. But I think most importantly, he helped usher the dramatic turnaround for your Vancouver Canucks, Troy, and led them back to the playoffs. Unfortunately, though, he got hurt at the end of the year, sort of ushering in the Shilov's hobby moment that lasted about 3 days. I think. So hopefully you weren't a buyer. I hope you were a seller during that. I think, though, the main reason why Thatcher Demko stood above all his contemporaries, like you could have made a case for Connor Hellebuck or some other guys to make our all-star team here too, is that it's like year to date on Card Ladder, only 1,200 Demko cards have sold in the secondary markets, which is about 6 minutes of sales for Connor Bedard Young.
Like forever and ever?
No, just year to date.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's like less than 200, like 150 to 200 a month, which again, this is the entire hobby all around the world on all the public sales markets.
It's probably his mom and his cousins and
yeah. Oh, and I had he was a Vezina finalist and less than 4 public sales per day, which is crazy. I mean, that's like zero market. And he's a 2016 Young Guns PSA 10 pop count of 715, 71% Jeremy, last sold for $90 on July 9th, down 31% in the past 3 months. So there we have it.
And he's American.
He's American. Yeah. So Nikita Kucherov, Mikko Rantanen, Philip Forsberg, Roman Josi, Adam Fox, and Thatcher Demko. Very first Gong Show Nobody Cares All-Star first team. Overall thoughts, guys?
I will say these are the names that come up all the time. Yeah, on our show over the last 200 plus episodes. When we talk about Nobody Cares, it's always these guys with a little bit of Stamkos thrown in. Do you think Stamkos might break out of the Nobody Cares here with going to Nashville?
No, it's going to get worse.
Oh, it's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse. He's going to Nashville.
I know.
1/3 of the spots were Predators, so how's that going to help?
Yeah, not good. Not good.
I think if you would have went to like Detroit, I would have loved to see him in Detroit. I'm kind of bitter about that, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, these guys, but like we're saying, these are the guys. You kind of look at the data, and it kind of makes sense why we voted this way.
Okay. Well, we'll be back next year, and if people like it, I would take this all the way to third team because I love doing this so much. But that might just be me. And remember, we love these players.
Yes.
We're gonna get no sleep tonight and be crabby tomorrow. So maybe save your hate messages for Tuesday. Thank you.
Pick one quickly. Pick one out of all the ones you said. Who's the one that stands out for you personally? Mine's Josi, Roman Josi. Breaks my heart. No love.
Kucherov.
Yeah.
I would go Kucherov.
I don't like him though, so good for good.
Why don't you like him?
I don't. He annoys me. Like he has the whole world at his fingertips, and he can't even like straighten out his back at an all-star game and sit properly. I mean, I can't sit still either, but I don't have children looking up to me. I mean, it's ridiculous. Anyway,
yeah, well, Baba Louie looks up to you, and he's kind of a child.
Yeah,
he can't defend himself. So
no, it's all shots fired at Baba Louie when he's behind the producer wall. This is for you, Baba Louie.
Shots fired. The phone book, and then he can look up to me a bit better.
Ooh. Okay, got to make a quick mention for Gong Show partner and sponsor Slab Sharks. Very, very grateful for their support of our show. The current Slab Sharks weekly eBay auction is live. Be sure to head to slabsharks.com. Check out all the hockey cards available this week. If you have the app, you can just pop that puppy open too. Guess how many cards are in this week's Slab Sharks auction, Phil?
4,852.
Close, 37 million. Just kidding. 2,200. That's a ton. But we'll round up to 37 million. That sounds better. Okay. Plenty of cards to choose from. Tons of bangers, like there always is. The three of us spent time this weekend. Well, I think the three of us. Troy, a little sketchy on you.
I'm gonna say I maybe put this together 2 minutes before we went live.
Two of us spent some time this weekend, and somebody was at baseball the entire time. But Troy will wing it here, and we're gonna pick out our favorites. Do you want me to go first, then, Troy?
No, I'll go. I picked out two. I'm not gonna be able to explain a lot about them, but here's the first one. I don't even know what it is. I just threw it up there because I didn't read the title of it. But it's this Gretzky Cup card, autographed Pro Gear. I guess I can just kind of read it. I don't. We always see Gretzky cards, right? We see autos. I don't remember seeing a lot of Gretzky booklets recently, so I thought this was pretty interesting from that standpoint. Now he's in a Rangers jersey, and then. I also looked at the back. It is game used, official NHL game used material. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, so this one guy just jumped out at me because of that. Don't ask me.
Legend, Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, Blues Legend. I actually, you know what? Because it's probably going to go for here, right here. It's a 2017 Upper Deck the Cup Wayne Gretzky Pro Gear Patch Auto Booklet. So if you're watching on YouTube, there it is. I think it looks pretty cool. Auto looks great. And I just don't see a lot of booklets of Gretzky, so I thought it was interesting.
Okay. You got another one?
I do have another one. This one, look at this thing. Boy, that is fantastic. It's a Ken Dryden card. Now, since I kind of shoddily put my list together because
I knew you were going to pick that. I knew you were going to pick
well, that's good. At least you knew. Now, I'm trying to find it here very quickly. Here it is. It's a 1991 Future Trends, number 85, Ken Dryden Gold Ink Swirl. I don't know what that means. Is that the name of the card? Auto Hall of Fame. Let's look at the card, though. I cannot tell you how much I love this picture because, again, old goalie gear, Sherwood stick, waffle blocker. It's a black and white card. I can just imagine those brown pads and brown blocker. Team Canada jersey, the Jason mask or whatever that thing is. And Ken Dryden is to me, he's one of the most fascinating players ever in the NHL. He's got the book out. If you've ever read it, The Game, one of the best books ever written about hockey. But he's one of those goalies. He only played, I think, was it 9-10 seasons? Now he played for Montreal, but you look at his stats and you're just like, holy cow. This guy was amazing for 10 years. Yes, he was on an amazing team, but I just love this card. And I love the gold auto. Looks really nice and clean.
Is it so I need you to know if you go to a garage sale in Canada or any pawn shop or you can buy these cards.
Are they all over the place?
They're everywhere.
Well, that's an interesting.
They're not autoed. So go to the back. Like, is it from? Did someone on card or was it pack pulled like this? You know,
I guess, and it was
like, what does it say on the back?
Nope, it must have been after the market.
Okay.
I don't see anything here about an auto.
Yeah.
So
that's wild because they're like Ziploc bags at Value Village and yeah.
So yeah,
I've never seen that card in my life. Have you seen one of these before, Troy?
No, I haven't. I'm just gonna say this: 8 years in the NHL for Dryden, like 258 wins, 57 losses, 74 ties, 0.922 goals against, 2.24 goals against average, 0.922 save percentage. Sorry, 46 shutouts. I mean, it's pretty good. I know he's on awesome teams, but yeah, that's fine.
All right, well, good picks, even on the fly.
I
had 2 picks as well.
I knew you were going to pick this, Josh, when I saw it. I knew that was yours.
I love you. I'm kind of, these lamplighters are growing on me. And I know that a lot of people, when this set first came out in 2020, or it's the only year of it, were like, man, is this really a cup card? Like there's like a standard or certain look or elegance or grace or panache that a cup card is supposed to have. But I like these, and I really love the gold autos on him, and his auto looks amazing on this card. So I would be very happy to own
these look good
card.
in hand too, right? These are ones that kind of look better in hand than photograph.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. And then my second pick is a 2022-23 Metal Universe Sidney Crosby 2013 retro PMG blue out of 50 raw. I'm in the minority. I get it.
I know you're gonna get hate mail. Phil, what do you think?
But I kind of like them. They're weird.
Yeah.
I like them. Yeah.
I love blue PMGs. It's might be my favorite. It's between blue and purple. The purple are the employee exclusives that are kind of my favorite PMG colors. I love the comic book vibe to this. I know a lot of people knock the likeness, but to me, a comic book caricature of a person should only, shouldn't look identical to it, right? It just has because of course the face looks really nothing like Crosby. And I know there's been some fair criticisms of these, like some players are like right-handed, but they're depicted as like left-handed in their images or drawings and stuff like
Whoops.
that. But, whoops. I don't know. Just like
it's like anime Crosby. Isn't that he looks like Astro Boy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he'd be in like in a Marvel magazine or comic or something like that.
Like this is the one, like this is our boy. I just want to show like people.
I didn't think it's supposed to look. I didn't get that vibe anyways. I thought it was supposed to have that high contrast kind of drawing.
Yeah, so that's the Kaprizov one that people.
Oh, it kind of looks like him though.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Like it's like he's holding the boa staff like Donatello.
What do you want?
Oh yeah. All right, Phil, your turn now. You were completely off the rails last week, so I can't wait.
Yeah, I had a hidden agenda, I think, though, as usual.
Okay,
Well,
what did you pick this week?
Well, I also think I picked a booklet. Did I not? Oh, you're picking that one. Yeah, I love this one. This is great. What year is this? Is 20 what's on that, Troy? What's a 2013? I thought it was 2011. Yeah. Okay. That's just a fantastic year. It's a base card of a cup card. It's Curtis Joseph. I absolutely love this year for base cards. I'm a big I like collecting my sets. I think the cup base cards are all numbered out of 249. It's a forgotten set. People don't pay any attention to it. And it's highly achievable every year. No one cares about the base cards in the cup. You can probably pick them up for like $5, $10 here and there. Mm-hmm. I have the full set of the first year. I mean, that's a treasure of mine.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you got a next. Oh wait, you got a comment, Troy?
No, I was gonna say you did pick a booklet for your second one.
Yes, I did. So I don't like booklets, and I want to like this card. I just really, really don't. I hate it, but it has everything a hockey card. It has everything a hockey card.
What's that here? What's that? Slap Shark is calling.
No, they're fine. Card's fine.
No, I'm just kidding. You can rip on all the cards if you want.
It's nothing against those boys. It's nothing against anybody. It's just look at all these amazing hockey players. Look at all the game used patches. Look at all it's a clean card. It's white. It's got nice black stroke border around the frames of the patches, and I just can't stand it.
Is it because it's all Russians or what?
No.
You anti-Russian, Phil, or what?
No, I love Russians. I'm trying to find an Eastern European woman to be Hasselhoff's stepmom. I love Russians. Listen, I don't understand why this card is not speaking to me when it has everything that it should be. And do you guys? So I thought I'd bring it up because I don't like booklets. I don't find them. They're not hockey cards. They're not. It's hockey memorabilia. So I don't consider booklets hockey cards. I barely consider your Lamplighters a hockey card, Josh. So, yeah, there we go. Going hard. So, I don't know. Do you guys like this card?
Well, here's what I would say in defense of this card is that I can't imagine a better design to get 8 players onto one booklet than this one. I'm very impressed by that. What gets me on cards like this is that if you're going to put 8 players, I don't love when it's like Alex Ovechkin and then like some dude I've never heard of.
Well, it's like, okay, right? You got Ovechkin, Malkin, all-time greats, Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Tarasenko probably. I mean,
these 4 are okay.
But it's like I want them all to be bangers, right? I want like Tretiak, Fedorov.
Well, then you get in here. Obviously, when this card was made, his problems weren't going to be known. They didn't have like clairvoyance to see. I can't say his name, but he's got
Nichushkin.
Yeah, Nichushkin's got some issues. I think Varlamov had some stuff in his past too. But my favorite thing is Varlamov. Look at him. Look at those eyes. That's intense right there, baby.
Dialed in.
His eyes are crossed. You see that?
Oh no, he's just looking to the side.
No,
they're looking to the side. I want to say this too. I am becoming such a Panini hockey bobo that I kind of want him back. I've been loving looking at old Panini stuff
until you get a redemption.
Until I get a redemption. They're just like, we'd have to honor that. That's not a legal binding contract, sucker.
All right. Good picks, Phil. And if you are a Canadian hockey card collector, we'd strongly recommend checking out Slab Shark's eBay consignment services. They make it very easy and hassle-free to sell your cards on eBay. You just send them your cards or drop them off at one of the many trade shows they sponsor, and they literally do everything else. It's stress-free. You don't have to be an expert, as Slab Sharks is the expert. They sell thousands of cards each week, and their auctions get huge amounts of hockey hobby eyeballs on them every single week, too. So check out slabsharks.com for complete consignment information, including payout rates, and to start the consignment process with them today. Happy news!
Happy news!
News of the hobby.
Thanks, Phil.
I don't like falsetto all the time.
Hey, I will say this. You don't have to say it if you don't want to.
No, I want to say it. I've been practicing all week. I get stumped up a little bit. I don't know.
You have to say it. All right, I got it. Louis, what's the review of Phil's hobby news?
It's terrible.
On the scale of like horrible to awful.
Awful.
I have to sound different than the same, right? We can't all go hobby news. Or do you want us to?
Only Josh can do it that way, though.
Okay. So I have to find my own mark.
I have one talent in life. Just give it to me. Guys. All right. Thanks, Luke. Well, boys, we're back. The highly anticipated Road to Infinity update. I know, Phil, you've been texting me all day. You could barely wait, but I made you. Wanted to get your reaction and your surprise. If you're new to the show, welcome, first of all. And this is where we are vigorously tracking the PSA 10 pop count growth for Connor Bedard base Young Guns. As of our last update, the Bedard PSA 10 pop count had increased to 4,391 PSA 10s. Now, the key question everybody's asking, where does it go? Where does it get to this week? Now, remember, the last increase last week was 166 PSA 10s in 7 days. Okay, Phil. So if we were at 4,391, where is it at now? You got to guess.
I say 4,000. I don't know, man. I really think it's slow. It's the summer. 4,550.
Oh, we'll see.
I think
We'll
less
see how
than-
close you are.
Yeah.
As of the most updated PSA 10 or PSA Pop Reports, certified by the law firm of Booley, Cooley, and Datsuk and Partners, the PSA 10 pop count for the Connor Bedard base Young Guns is now at drumroll Troy. Drumroll.
Cover your ears. There we go.
Okay, you just put me on like
Josh is by himself.
I didn't do that. I was just hitting the thing. Did that actually? That was crazy. If it actually
that
moved
did
the
it.
video.
Things happen when you hit things.
what did you guess again, Phil?
4,550.
Holy moly.
You're dead on,
4,553
basically. 3 off.
Not bad, eh?
PSA 10s.
Not
It's an
bad.
increase of 162 in the past week.
Yeah.
But you
I'm
can't say
saying we
Troy's
ditch
face.
this segment for a month because I get sad now every time. I want it to blow up into like 8,000, but it's not happening.
Well, check
No,
this out.
People are smart.
There's now been 9,927 Bedard base Young Guns graded by PSA.
That's what
Weird.
matters. That's the real. That just shows the lunacy.
And
of the
literally,
whole
it's
thing.
split between 9s and 10s.
Yeah, so
evenly.
10,000 of them have been graded since the card's been out. You're all congratulations. You're all bonkers. And there's probably like 5 people only that are happy to have the card.
Yo, I think of like $400 a hobby box. There's a Bedard in 1 and 8 1/3, so it's roughly $2,500 invested to pull a Bedard. 10,000 have been graded. 2,500 times 10,000. A lot of cash money has been spent.
Cash
chasing Connor
money.
Bedard, folks.
A lot of big money changing hands there, boys.
But that
We'll be
101's
back
out
next week.
there.
Yeah, it's still out there.
How many Beckett's? How many BGS's? Probably like 1,000. So like maybe
No.
not 800.
No, it's not even. It's sad.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sad. Like the
Mhm.
company.
Yeah, pretty well. You said it.
You said not us.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Okay, I'm really excited for this next story because I think there's going to be good discussion around this. So I don't know if you guys saw this. ESPN. Well, Phil, is ESPN a thing in Canada really?
Nah, no one
TSN,
cares.
isn't it? Isn't it
Yeah,
TSN?
TSN and Sportsnet. It's a bit of a monopoly. Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of crazy because ESPN's so big here. Well, they released their top 100 athletes of the 21st century. So they've been doing a top 100 countdown of the best athletes from any sport in the 21st century over the past week or so. And all the names a few days ago were finally revealed. So they did sort of like the 10 a day per thing. So they had contributors across the globe participate. In total, over 70,000 votes were cast to come up with the top 100 athletes. Voters could only consider an athlete's performance after the year 2000. So between 2000 and 2024, so the first quarter of the century. So Phil, do you want to take a guess at how many hockey players made the list on the top 100 athletes in the 21st century, according to ESPN?
I'd say 0.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
3.
Okay.
So now you got to guess. Who do you think
Yeah.
the 3 will be?
McDavid.
Okay.
I don't want to say the second one. And the third one would be
So Austin Matthews.
yeah. And the third one would be I don't know. I can't think of who would stand out like that. So I thought AM34 and yeah, McDavid. Maybe
Josh,
Crosby.
did
Crosby. Ovi.
Did they give a definition of what they're considering an athlete? Because that's where I get bogged down. It's like, when I think of Olympic athletes and how they train every day for 4 years for this one moment,
good point.
versus like a hockey player.
Well, there's a whole thing. Yeah. How do you compare like a cricket player versus a hockey player or a swimmer? I mean, it's kind of an exercise in absurdity, but we do have the breakdown before we get into the 3 hockey players. Here's the breakdown from ESPN by sport, right? So basketball at 24, a quarter of the top 100.
What?
Baseball 17, soccer 15, football 12, tennis 6, golf 4, boxing 4, track and field 3, auto racing 3, and hockey. Hockey's better at basically has the same level of athletes.
Was like darts on here? Where's a guy like dart guy or
who paid for this? Fanatics? Like what? This is like their marketing. That's ridiculous.
Okay, well, we'll get it. We'll get more into the full list in a minute, but I do want to go break down the 3 hockey players. So the only one you mentioned comes in at number 98, right? Cupless Connie, as Troy likes to call him, which I think is very disrespectful, Troy. It's Connor McDavid. You think that will stick, that nickname, Cupless Connie?
I love it, Troy. That's ruthless. I love it. I'm gonna do it with you.
You should be ashamed, Troy. Okay, so ESPN's key accomplishments. He's a 5-time Art Ross Trophy winner, 3-time Hart Trophy winner, 7 100-point seasons in his first 9 NHL seasons, and 2024 Conn Smythe winner. I don't know. Feel too low to be in number 98 out of 100?
For sure, it's way too low for. I mean, we're biased. We're going to be totally biased because we're hockey. We love hockey. We like hockey guys. We know the work that goes into becoming a hockey player. How much effort, physical effort they put into being hockey players, and how much effort during a game they have to do just to not die on the ice, basically. But 98 is way too low.
They could have put him on 97 at least.
Oh, that'd have been cool.
Ooh, yeah. Well, they gave him Bedard's number. So.
Criminally low. You're telling me a cricket player is going to be ahead of this guy? Is that the cricket player? Where's he at? Or she at?
I think it was number 97. Yeah.
Was it?
Right in the face.
I was fired at cricket.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's so
I
good.
know. Actually, cricket. I've kind of gotten into watching
cricket. You need to understand what a crumpet is if you want to play cricket.
I just know you can hit a home run backwards, basically, or to the sides, and it's craziness. And
Welcome to episode 2 of the Cricket's Card.
Yeah, wait, hold on.
Gongshow.
Here's my thing about. Okay, I'm 2 things. One, cricket games used to take like months to complete. Now they like got all the new kinds. But if you want to watch a game, YouTube Kabaddi. My buddy or a guy I work with, he's from Pakistan. It's like professional tag. It's really weird. It's called Kabaddi. Check it out. It's the weirdest game I've ever watched.
Jesse Kabaddi Ventura.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota governor. We like to forget about that. Okay, rank now at 54. So McDavid's 98. At 54 is Alex Ovechkin, Phil.
Yeah.
Sorry, Troy, you got the wrong photo in there.
Wrong picture.
Dad bod extraordinaire.
Yep, we all love him because he is dad bod. We all have dad bods. Most of us have dad bods, but there he is.
Does this convince you he's going to get the goals record, Phil? That's a recent.
I still don't. I want him to get it, but he's not gonna. And that's coming from a guy who's just buying his cards now.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the right one.
Yeah.
So, according to ESPN, his key accomplishments: NHL 100 greatest, Stanley Cup champion, Conn Smythe winner, second all time with 853 goals, NHL record 312 power play goals, 9-time Rocket Richard Trophy winner, 3-time Hart Trophy winner, Ted Lindsay Award, 2006 Calder, 2008 Art Ross. Again, I don't think you can make an argument he shouldn't be on this list.
No, I
actually think around 50, like where he's at, is again where it's the theater of the absurd to try to compare baseball players and hockey players and all that stuff. But I don't know. I don't have a problem with him being 54. Do you guys?
I have zero problem with where he's at. I think McDavid should be right by him.
Yeah, I agree. I think Crosby. I think of 3 should all be kind of similar.
Yeah. Well, you just mentioned him, Troy. The highest ranked hockey player on the ESPN 100 list is Sidney Crosby, lands in at spot number 22. So, according to ESPN's key accomplishments for Crosby, again, NHL 100 greatest, 2-time Rocket Richard Trophy winner, 2-time Art Ross winner, 2-time Hart Trophy, 3-time Ted Lindsay Award, 3-time Stanley Cup champion, 2-time Conn Smythe, and 1,596 points is 10th all time. So here's kind of something interesting. We've been sort of lamenting the standing of hockey players on this list. Here are some athletes, though, that Crosby is ranked ahead of. So would you put any of these ahead of Crosby? So they ranked him ahead of Peyton Manning.
Peyton
Floyd.
Manning, come
Peyton
on.
Manning's not an athlete. He throws a good football. Eli's got more rings than Peyton.
Floyd Mayweather.
Okay, well, I don't like him, but he should be top 10.
Yeah, prime Floyd Mayweather was
top 10
something to behold.
athletes
He's
of
a
the world,
complete trash human being, but
Yeah.
Randy Moss.
Moss was a freak. We're biased being in Minnesota. We watched him at his prime, and he was an absolute freak.
Have I told my Randy Moss story on the show?
I haven't heard it.
Right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, quick sidebar. So, a couple years, I went to the University of Minnesota, as I mentioned, like 4 million times. A loser in that way. And a couple years after graduation, I had met my wife. I want to say we were not even married at the time, and my college roommate was a DJ, and he was DJing at every college here has a bar called the Library, so he's DJing.
Yep.
You can say as a kid, your mom says, "Where are you at tonight?" I'm at the library, Mom. And we were DJing there, and a whole bunch of Vikings came into the bar, probably like an hour before bar close, and I can't remember, it was something like 20 minutes before. I think it was 1 a.m. was bar close at that point in Minnesota.
Yeah.
They wanted you to kind of shut the music down. And Randy Moss comes up like 5 minutes after we're supposed to stop playing, as the last song is winding down. He wants to play a song, and he comes up to my wife, and I can't remember what song he asked for. And he says, "Play the song." And she said, "Sorry, we can't play any more music. It's bar close." And he kind of like gives her like the stink eye. And she looks at him and she goes, "And you are?" And turns around and walks away.
Fantastic.
It's like the greatest thing ever. So thank you for indulging that story. Mike
Good
Trout,
for her.
they ranked Sidney Crosby ahead of.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're on a top list of your body breaking down constantly, Trout's
Yeah.
on it. You can't stay healthy.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Ichiro, they ranked Crosby ahead of.
Ichiro's still a freak, and he's like 50-some years old. He can still throw the ball harder than they like hit the ball. It's pretty crazy.
Barry Bonds, they ranked Crosby ahead of.
Oh, can you keep him in there though with the steroids and stuff?
Yes.
Not that probably like I don't know. I don't want to say a number, but let's just say probably a lot of people on this list might have had some kind of enhancing
I'd say over half.
here and there.
Probably.
Yeah.
And I know you guys aren't big basketball guys, but Kevin Durant, I mean, that's, he's kind of regarded.
I
as
mean,
one
no,
of the
I know he was
unicorns.
good at one point. I know that.
And then the last one I had on the somewhat, made you think, because they rated Crosby ahead of Derek Jeter.
Yeah, you never think of Jeter as like, I mean, he's awesome,
The
awesome shortstop, right? The captain, the gift basket guy.
Captain.
No one got that.
New York's most eligible bachelor.
The gift basket? Yeah. Didn't he?
Okay. Thank you. I just want to
Hey, you brought it up.
Yeah, you're number one family show guy, and then you try to lead us right to the edge.
Yeah. Josh and Phil will take it far, so don't start it.
Okay, so if you're curious, here's the top 10. So we had McDavid at 98, Ovechkin at 54, Crosby at 22. The top number 10 was Kobe Bryant, much beloved Kobe. Number 9, I think you could have even ranked higher, in my opinion, is Usain Bolt. I mean, I've talked about like dominating their sport. That dude for 7-8 years was unbeatable.
Yeah, the fastest human on the planet. He should probably be number 1.
Number 8, Tiger Woods, who in some cases should be higher too, but if he didn't get all into the booger sugar or whatever he got into, that sort of derailed his career, pills or whatever, derailed his career.
Yeah, crash your car when your wife's chasing you with a golf
You're
club.
dating the most beautiful woman on the planet. Insane.
Well, there's a whole different psychology behind that.
Number 7 is Simone Biles. Again,
Sure,
that's like,
yep.
how do you compare her to? I mean, that's the
She's a
it's the-
gymnast. Eh?
She's still competing and like dominating. It's
She's
crazy.
awesome. Good for her. I love her sassy attitude. I love it, man. I love it.
She should. The stuff that they all went through with that creep doctor guy, the trainer, they should just she should be sassy and everything.
I like
Number 6, interesting, highly accomplished, of course, but Roger Federer. So we're saying that Federer is a better athlete than Connor McDavid.
Yeah, let's see that. Yeah, you can't have.
He's not better than Usain Bolt.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
All jokes aside, though, like
Federer's
Troy's whole cupless Connie, that has to figure into this, right? I mean, Federer's got like 22 Grand Slam titles or something like that.
Yeah, something crazy.
We're not talking about cardiovascular. That's what I think when I think of an athlete, like cardiovascular,
Sure.
I'm way too weighted towards like Olympians when I think of this question.
Yeah. Basketball, what are you trying to be the best at exercising? Like, give me a break.
Number 5 is Tom Brady. Goat.
Yeah, okay.
Number 4 is LeBron.
Boo.
3 is Messi. 2 Serena Williams. And then any guesses who number 1 would be?
I already knew it, and I agree. It probably is.
I thought it would have been LeBron because I can't.
This guy's definitely top 3 for sure.
Give me a hint. What's the first letter?
USA gold medals.
Rhymes with
Phelps.
Yeah, Michael Phelps.
Yeah, he's a
fish.
Okay.
He's a fish.
He made us. Well, I don't know about you in Canada, but here in the U.S. for like 8 years, he made us care about swimming, which is.
Well,
he's a bit of a pothead too, isn't he?
I think so.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this.
Pretty sure he tested positive, and everyone laughed. And they gave him back the medals. Something like that happened.
I'm trying to look up real quick which Olympics it was. I want to say it was 2008, Beijing 2008, the relay race between the USA and France. It's the absolute greatest live event I have ever watched on TV, by far. The smack talking that the French and the US were doing, and then to have our guy like Phelps is in there, but Jason Lezak, he's like 30. He's like an ancient dinosaur in this race, and he comes back to win it out of nowhere. It's by far the greatest live event I've ever watched.
You'd rate that over Wild preseason?
Yes. Part of it's because I'm American too, right? It's a USA. Like, it feels like, okay, I don't care about USA swimming, but it's one of those things. It's so awesome.
No, Phelps is one of my people. I'm pretty sure. All
right, we've gotten bogged down in non-hockey.
Okay,
talk.
yeah, we're almost done.
Louis about to fall asleep.
Seems like there was a lot of emphasis on Olympic athletes, of course, at the top of the list. But you guys noticed, and it's very shocking, very disgusting, and repulsive. I'm outraged. No Connor Bedard. Are they on like crazy pills? With 22 goals should be definitely enough for our hockey wonderkid. In fairness, though, ESPN, they did a supplementary sort of content piece to this,
who's next,
predicting who would be 25 years from now in 2050 on the list, and they picked 25 athletes, and there was 2 hockey players that they predicted will be on this list in 2050. One was Connor Bedard. Phil, can you take a guess who the other one would be?
Jake Sanderson?
I don't think so, no.
No, Shane Pinto.
I would bet not.
Okay. I'm at a loss for the next.
I got it.
One, Cale Makar.
Oh, really?
Not McKinnon?
Interesting.
Well, I guess not in 50 years or whatever. What are they saying by 2050?
Yeah, 2050.
Not enough of this list.
I don't know. You guys like these sort of lists? Or
they're fun.
I think
we just spent like 15 minutes talking about this list.
It's silly, but it's fun to talk about.
And we get people mad, and they write us in.
I'm mad.
I didn't see any like Canadian Olympic athletes on the list. What's going on there?
I don't know. Who knows? We're not having a good decade.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be.
Well, we got one more hobby story, and it's a big one. Very, very much tied into our show. I don't know if you know this, Phil, but Troy actually ruined Kyle Okposo's. You got the picture there.
There it is. Sorry.
What happened?
Yeah, well, Troy ruined his day with a cup and I'm going to tell you right now.
Oh my!
For what seems like 2 to 3 shows now, Troy's been huffing and puffing about that Lord Stanley's Cup would be making an appearance at Pagel Arena, home of the Minnetonka Skippers, on Friday, and how annoying it was going to be that they have to do hockey practice with the Stanley Cup there. around all the hoopla, because when you're at Minnetonka, you see, and you're always the best, you're always the brightest. The Stanley Cup is no big deal. Like Troy calls it, I think peasant fodder was what he was saying off air before
I
we
love
were
that. That's
recording.
great.
He's like, you know, the shiny Denty trophy, only little people worry about, according to Troy. And not only did he kind of jinx it for Kyle Okposo, but Troy also, as we know, works in the airline industry. And we all know what's happened in the last few days, which caused the Cup, which was in St. Louis, Missouri, with, I believe, Matthew Tkachuk. There was no flights to get it to Minnesota, and the day with the Cup had to be canceled. And so we have Troy, who hates the Stanley Cup, was annoyed it was going to interfere with his hockey practice, and works at an airline. So we're going to pause for a second and just let everyone connect the dots here.
Scoundrel, Troy.
I got a couple things. So it's kind of crazy, like what happened. Okay, it wasn't Delta, it wasn't American, it wasn't United, it was whatever,
Right.
CrowdStrike, whatever their name is, pushed an update which basically broke a bunch of stuff, affected banks, hospitals, of course, airlines.
911.
Yep, 911s, and airlines got the brunt of it. But it was kind of funny. We were debating, like, when the Cup comes, like, would you touch it? We were like in the coach's room debating if we would touch it, and it was half and half, so that yes versus no. So I thought it was kind of a funny debate. But yeah, we were just like, then we started thinking, well, we got to get, if the Cup's there during our practice, we have to get the Cup on the ice, right? We got to see if we can somehow get it on there. And we were all trying to we couldn't figure out why it was ending up at Pagel. We couldn't figure it out. I thought maybe his wife was from there, and I was wrong there. And what it sounds like is they're building a house out in the area and might be coming Minnetonka school people. We'll just say that. Maybe their kids are going to go there. So that's what I think is leading.
They're going to live on Lake Minnetonka, the famed Lake Minnetonka.
No, I don't think they live on the lake, but it's one of the hoity-toity suburbs around there.
Help me understand why you wouldn't touch the Cup. It's not like you're going to win it.
Oh, there's this thing where, well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like some people say,
we're civilians.
You got to earn it. You got to earn it before you touch it. So
no, we can touch it. We're not in the show.
I would fall into the thing. I don't care. Okay, well, and the saddest part is it doesn't look like he can get his day with the Cup rescheduled. So he was
they'll get it. They got to.
They will. They have
can't
to.
do that.
That's crazy.
That's jerk move if they can't do that.
Yeah, I'm with you, Troy. I'd be very, very. I'd sue them. What are you doing all this for if you can't have your day with the Cup? That's the whole point.
No kidding.
So what do you have to say for yourself, Troy? You ruined. No, he spent 18 years in the NHL, hardly even sniffed the playoffs his whole time, and now wins the Stanley Cup, and you ruined it for him.
Can't have his day with it. Apologies. You should bring it over to Shattuck, right? He's a Shattuck boy.
Mm-hmm. Everybody goes to Shattuck. It's crazy. I was just listening to an interview with Zeev Bayum, the wild draft pick from the Denver Pioneers, and he was talking about being at Shattuck with Macklin Celebrini. And Phil, you got to come here and go. The place is like Hogwarts. It legitimately is.
Yeah, I want to, man. I absolutely want to.
Next time I'm there, I'll take a picture of the NHL wall of all the. Sorry, I'm off camera. All the NHL alum or all the Shattuck alumni that played in the NHL. It's just stupidity.
42 current NHL players.
Yeah, that's crazy. Can we have a sleepover? Do we get our a bunkhouse and we can go to the calf and stuff?
I don't know.
The guy that runs their arena, he's got white hair and he looks like the guitarist from Queen.
Okay,
he's got kind of that.
It's all white.
Yeah. Interesting guy. Okay. Well, Phil,
I'm up.
Time for a little dose of hobby positivity with what puts the glow in Phil's flow.
Hey, that is not the picture I gave to use. This is not. Okay, hold on.
This is what I was told to put up.
That is false. That is not the picture I asked to use. This
or the soundbite didn't match.
Is bald. I have hair. I just choose to shave.
The soundbite didn't match the title of the segment either, so don't worry about it.
That's okay. We're a gong show, right? That's what we do. Okay. Yes.
Are you awake? Are you ready? Come on, Phil. You gotta.
It actually takes me about an hour or 2 hours to wake up, so I'm ramping up here.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, my time. Contrary to popular opinion, Loud Phil is actually a super smiley, happy, handsome guy. It is true I have poo on my shoe quite often and I want to vent about it, but sometimes, most times actually, I prefer to have a glow in my flow, the pep in my step, or when I'm driving, I'm always smiling. The crappy stories are usually the most interesting ones, but we always forget there's usually a dude at the bottom of that story holding that crap. Don't worry about crap holding dude. Here's a couple of feel-good stories to show you there is light at the end of the tunnel. I guess word has gotten around that I am the unofficial, self-proclaimed ambassador of Parker's Champions because a couple of months ago... Joe, you're making me laugh.
Well, I hope we contributed to that because we brought it up many times how you love it. So.
Absolutely. I smile in the truck all the time when I'm listening to you boys. That's great. It's fantastic. So a couple of months ago, a new collector, brand new, fresh right out of the pack collector, reached out to the show to get into contact with me. He pulled an Iserman out of 10 and a napkin patch card out of Parker's Champions. New or not to the hobby, you don't need someone to tell you an out of 10 marked card could be quite rare. So this individual, we'll call him Kevin. It's actually his real name. Hey, Kev. So right off the bat, Kevin was incredibly honest, ridiculously honest. He told Josh, I've actually only ever sold one card, he said. So what a leap of faith from this young man. Showing all his cards right off the get-go, pun intended. In a world of masks and illusion, in a world of masks and illusions, this was beyond refreshing to hear. So I have an opportunity in front of me right now. Actually, I could have multiple opportunities in front of me, but I'm going to base this opportunity on what I want to take out from the hobby. If I wanted to make money, I would have framed the conversation a certain way, but that's not what I want from the hobby, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I also don't think Kevin would have reached out to the show if the show was called Hockey Card Gongshow Investors. That is not my hobby within the hobby, but it is other people's. Mine is to make like-minded friends, finish my sets, get the individual cards I want, and replicate the previous 3 objectives for my friends and acquaintances. So chatting with Kevin was an absolute blast. Being new to the hobby, Kevin had so many adorable questions that seemed hilarious to me, but was a pleasure to demystify certain aspects of our hobby to him. I completely forgot about the 2 Isermans that sparked this whole thing because it was great connecting with a new collector. I actually ended up I ended up acquiring the 2 Isermans from Kevin a few days later, but the story doesn't stop there. Kevin and I have stayed in touch, and he has since sent me completely for free 3 other packages of all just random base cards, inserts, parallels of Parker's Champions. And guess what? I returned the favor to Kevin as well. I'm a little slower than him, but I sent a big fat stack of Young Guns from the past previous years, whole bunch of inserts from my extended case, things I don't even care for. I have no use of those cards, but I'm very happy it went to Kevin. So what am I going to do with them? Make $50, $100? Who cares, man? A few bucks here, a few bucks there. If you're like me, our journey in this hobby is a long one. So plant your seeds of generosity today, folks, for a more happy, prosperous future you can share with other like-minded people. All right, one more. Next up, we have Alex. King.breaks on IG, on Instagram, breaks with 2 Z's at the end. So king.breaks. Alex heard me shoot my mouth off pretty hard about this super new overpriced eBay Connor McDavid card on eBay. It was a regular base card of Connor McDavid. He listed it at $2,000, and I hooted and hollered on this podcast of how ridiculous the price was. And lo and behold, Alex reached out to the show. Quite bold of him to do so, but his first message was very, very nice, and it was to break the ice. And I responded in kind as well. I looked at his profile and I realized he is a massive Toronto Maple Leafs fan, and he actually buys and sells quite a bit of cards. That's awesome. That's his hobby. He's not pretending to be anything else. Alex and I got along great. He was incredibly honest and said he bought into a Champions break because of how I was admiring this set on the podcast. Also admitted, so this is a guy who is very well versed in our hobby, but he admitted to me he wasn't too familiar with the set. Parker's Champions wasn't really his jam.
Yep.
I told him I picked up a McDavid patch auto for $650. That's kind of unfair because I got a great deal of that set as well. So he's trying to sell just a regular auto for $2,000. Things got a little screwy. We're not going to agree on a price. He asked me my best price. I said $400. But honestly, we both know you can get it for more. I said that. He was surprised at my honesty as well. And when we just became buddies from British Columbia to Ottawa, I never got the card. He didn't sell me the card. He didn't make money, but we became friends. So the conversation turned from trying to get the card to me helping him strategically price his card for max profit. So ridiculous. So I'm not kidding, folks. We chatted all day back and forth about comps, best offer. Maybe he should try Facebook. I might know this guy. And I'm trying to sell a card that I want. I'm not very good at hunting my cards sometimes, to say the least. Anyways, a couple weeks pass, and Alex and I stay in touch here and there. He tells me he lowered the price, some bad offers here and there. The daily struggles of eBay sellers, I want to be you.
Yeah.
Story short, a couple of weeks ago, I get a message from Alex. He had some eBay offers, but it sounds like he's kind of getting tired of that whole game. He says, if I can bump up the offer to 550, or it was 5 or 550, it's all mine. Blew me away. Never in a million years did I expect that. Is he taking a loss? Absolutely. He could have gotten more for the card. But I guess he's seen my videos and you know, he saw my passion and he liked my style of hobby and he wanted to help me out. Kindness and passion are contagious. Giving gifts at Christmas kind of sort of feels better than getting them, right? I look at our hobby in a similar fashion. We all can get what we want, but we can also help others along the way. I'd also like to give some honorable mentions here. Doghouse Hockey Cards on Instagram, Ian's Hockey Cards on Instagram, Goalie.42 on Instagram, and Dino Nevis on Facebook. He's also Pens Collector on eBay. Everybody I just mentioned have sent me free cards to the mail, and all these people, especially a couple of them, they sent me almost $100 worth of cards, and they are sellers. They're not big set collector guys. Absolutely beyond flattered of the generosity in our hobby. Please don't get me wrong here, folks. All the cents add up. Rich people don't get rich by spending the cents, but sometimes, just sometimes, being a bit loose with your cards and the deals you will make will benefit you greatly in the future. I don't actually believe in karma, but this very well might be one of those times that if karma did exist, I would take full advantage if I was you. Be kind with your cards and each other, and that's the glow in my flow.
Oh,
I'm done.
that was beautiful.
Nice. Yep.
Troy's crying. You need a minute, Troy? You need a tissue?
Oh,
Oh.
No, it's good.
Don't get used to it.
No, we that's right. Was it last show where we kind of called you out, Phil? You're always going off on stuff, and you said, nah. I got a next idea for my segment, and that was beautiful. I love it.
You are a very positive person, so I am glad that you were mixing this in, because I was a little bit worried too that people were going to get the wrong impression of you, and that's one of the things I really like about you is that you know, you're very glowing and smiling and just generally upbeat, and so yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, they're still going to be
supposed to tell me how
though.
nice I am too, but apparently not.
Oh, Josh, you're an incredible man, great dad, and a great co-host of the Hockey Card Gongshow.
I know.
Gosh, you're a jerk. All you do is yell at me.
Jerko. The jerk store called and they're running out of you.
Ooh. Well, boys,
all right.
the National is this week.
I love you.
The National, July 24th to July 20th in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm going to be there. Right? It's the premier card show in the United States of America.
Yep.
It's the premier card show in the U.S. for baseball cards, football cards, basketball cards, and hockey.
Ish, maybe.
You like? We know
actually, you got some interesting perspectives coming up that actually I was very interested to hear.
Yeah, we know the Toronto Sport Card Expo is hockey heaven. That's just facts. Nothing can touch it. It's a cream of the crop. It rises to the top. This is not a question of what's the best hockey card show in the speck of the solar system we call Earth, because it's not even a question at all. But what I have been thinking about for the past couple of weeks is, in taking that hockey angle, is the National worth it for a hockey collector? Now, you've never been, Troy, right?
I have not. I want to. It always hits baseball, and you know, I can't can't skip it for these things that are shortly not going to be a part of my life anymore with my kids playing baseball. So
100%. You've never been either, right, Phil?
I have never been to the National. I want to, but I don't, because everyone's like, there's no hockey, there's no point. But everyone's like, it's such a great experience. So I don't know what to do.
So you guys are going to be super helpful for this conversation. Is the national worth it? No. Well, and I've only been once, right? And so, but I think there's a role for you to play in this conversation, right? Because of the fact that I've been once, you guys have never been, I felt like, well, how do we have this conversation in a way that's like somewhat intelligent? And so we went out and asked a whole bunch of people that have much more experience with the national and did some hobby polls and stuff like that. And so maybe at the end of this conversation, and once you hear what everyone has to say, you guys can make a determination if maybe you would. Troy says you kind of already do want to go, and Phil, maybe you'll change your mind a little bit too. So to start, first, I wanted to get a general sense from the hockey hobby, kind of what their thoughts are regarding this question. Is the national a good fit for a hockey collector? So we did an Instagram hobby poll.
I still don't. I mean, is this the joke? It's just a poll, not an actual like results poll.
It's a poll on the screen, and it says hobby poll.
Yeah, if you're not watching on YouTube, this joke, sorry, it flew right over every audio listener, but it's kind of funny.
It's ridiculous.
What we do to make ourselves laugh.
Why is this so funny?
Oh, hobby polls and POLL. I thought it was POLE. Sorry. I'm done. See, I get way too much. So we did a real poll on Instagram. Now, 2/3 of, we had a few hundred voters, right? 2/3 said no,
there.
The national is not worth it for a hockey collector. 67% voted no. And then I wanted to get more context, right? And so we followed up the poll asking people to expand on their reasoning a little bit. And here's some of the responses that we got. Just not enough hockey being sold, and the variety is poor. So that was one person's feedback. Here's another. The Expos for hockey cards, the Nationals for relationships and hanging out with hobby friends. Someone else said yes and no. If you get free flights like Troy, then yes. For most people, no. Oh, shots fired, Troy.
I guess.
Well, you don't get so much free flights. Is it? You have more of the private jet, right?
No private jets for me.
Okay, so here's some more feedback. Just the same few sellers with either Young Gun PSA 10s at 50% over comps or the top 0.001% of cards. Somebody says you can do better on eBay. Oh, shots fired in the national. Not nearly enough variety or hockey sellers there. Only show for hockey is the Expo. Someone else said, as a hockey collector, you have to value more the experience than the hockey cards. Just not a popular sport. I think it's the greatest sport on earth, but 90% of people don't agree. Someone else said there's stuff there, but you have to work to find it. It's usually nicer stuff, though, for sure. Another person said, very limited hockey, nothing like the Expo. Worth it to, though, as a collector to see.
Mm-hmm.
Two more of kind of the people responding to the poll. Almost zero hockey. Save your money and go to the Expo. And then lastly, less buyer competition, so bigger deals can be had. Plus, you can compare other markets. Okay, thoughts on that? Is that kind of what you guys would have guessed? Anything out there in that feedback stand out to you? That's
kind of what I've heard in the past. However, when you get to some other opinions, I find it very interesting. And then the one comment that the not the popular sport, I totally agree. And greatest sport on earth, agree, but 90% of people don't agree. I bet it's more than 90%. If you took the world population, it's probably 97%. I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, it's kind of the feedback we've heard before.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts you had, Phil?
I would love. I'm definitely going to go. Hasselhoff and I want to go. It would be great to go as a big group of us, a bunch of bumbling hockey guys walking around looking confused. I just don't know when you walk in the Expo, you walk in the entrance and it's a massive auditorium connected by a massive wide hallway to another auditorium that's connected to another auditorium. Is that the national, or is it a bunch of? Because all the pictures and videos I see, it's just a bunch of hallways. It looks like a big building with little rooms connected with hallways. So is it a big warehouse, or I'd like?
I think it depends on the venue. In Chicago, I've only been in the one in Chicago, so I have
Okay.
not a lot of context, but it made the expo feel kind of small.
How is
Yeah.
that possible?
Here's what I'm looking it up right now. Just if you look at Google, the square footage of the expo is around 200,000 square feet. Okay, give or take. I don't know if that's exactly right, but the national is over twice that. It's like 500,000 square feet.
You legitimately got lost all the time, like lost. Like,
so it is hallways and little rooms then.
yeah, but big rooms, just
Yeah.
many of them.
And this one's in Cleveland. So again, don't know how
Yeah.
it's set up. Haven't been there.
Yeah. So, but okay, let's keep going because I wanted to dig into the question further. Again, what we're trying to figure out is the national worth it for a hockey collector? And so I asked some of our hobby friends, like sponsors of our show contributors, kind of the guys that you've all probably become pretty familiar with and listening to us, especially if you've followed our show for a bit now. And we got to start with the Oracle, Jeremy Lee, who's of course a never-ending fountain of knowledge when it comes to hockey cardboard. So here's his opinion. Jeremy said yes. And he said, just that next week, I'll be traveling to my 16th national. I've never once regretted going. One time I did change my flight home from Sunday to Friday, Atlantic City in 2016, because I spent all my money by Thursday. And then he says, I think it's important to recognize and mention that not all Canadian collectors only collect hockey. Is that true? I can't. But he said, but for those that do, they may need to include non-pickups, activities, and goals for the reasons for going. So there is Jeremy's feedback. Then I asked Karn Rai, who, of course, prominent collector, one of the founders of Slab Sharks. And, of course, we value his opinion as well. He says it's worth it, but in unusual ways. Upper Deck always does something cool. Last year was the Bedard NSCC promo cards plus numbered cards. He said, plus, since there's a lot less out there in the room, when you do have hockey, it's a lot more exciting. Asked Mitch Grotman, who fellow American, but big time hockey card collector, contributor on the Cup and our Cup Masterclass. And he said, my experience is that you will find lots of hockey if you're willing to go through a tremendous effort of digging through an endless sea of tables, just based on the sheer quantity of cards there. However, you might have 2 to 3% hockey in the whole show, so it's a slog. Most of the hockey in display cases will be high-end rookies or high-grade rookies of big stars or big cards like the GOATs of the sport. I think it's worthwhile to go for the sheer experience. But if you are strictly hockey, I don't think it's worth going as an attendee on an annual basis. The expo would be a better use of resources in that regard. And one thing I can echo just from my experience last year, and this is where I get to the scale of it, Phil. Like, let's say that you're walking around and what happens at a lot of shows, you find a card at a table. Like I found, like, this happened to me twice, and it was like, I don't want to pull the trigger now, but I might want to come back and make an offer on this card. I could not find those tables again. I couldn't find them. There's just so many, and it was so meandering in this. So yeah, you could easily get lost. Okay, so and then finally asked the hockey card hangover guys who I think I ran into last year. And so first was Hit 'em High or another Josh Thorne. He said it's the ultimate scavenger hunt. It truly is. It's like 1 in every 20 booths have hockey, but almost every booth has one hockey card. Sometimes it's one card is super underpriced, or they have it but didn't know what it was. It's about finding that piece, getting a deal, moving on as fast as possible because the room is insane. I found several dealers that had a decent amount of hockey. Were just getting into it, trying it out in their market. Those guys were cool because I was able to trade my baseball for hockey as they were fluent in both sports. Hockey is there. You got to dig it out. It's more than half the fun. And then Cartel, who sent me a voice message because in typical Cartel fashion, which I love the guy for that. So I can't quote him. I just have to kind of summarize what he said. He said, it's a great spectacle for anyone as a collector, but you have to go primarily for that experience. He also said that if you're willing to hunt, you'll find some good wax deals, a good mix of 90s. But yeah, you just have to dig. And then he said you can also find some deals on bigger name players too. And he said for Canadians, it's a great, and I thought this was interesting, Phil. He said it's a great way to get the American perspective on the hockey hobby. All right. So after all that, here's my takeaway. Then we'll get your guys' thoughts. It is that, from the feedback and sprinkling in my own experience, it's a massive show. It's a spectacle, and I think spectacle is the best way to put it. It's awesome to see, but I agree with the consensus that your primary goal can't be just tons of amazing hockey cards. You have to go for the overall experience, for like networking, meeting hobby people, and to experience the biggest show on earth, really. So that's my, and it pulled me back. So where I wasn't originally planning to go, but I don't know. Did any of this change any of your perceptions or thoughts?
I really enjoyed, or just the like hit 'em high. Josh's comment there about the searching through boxes kind of hit me because I like doing that. That's fun. Now, obviously, when I go to the Toronto Expo, I know there's hockey boxes all over the place, so finding those would be a challenge. But going through them would be fun, I think, and seeing what you could find. Um, and I think Jeremy's point is really good too. You take it in a broader perspective. Not all Canadians are hockey card collectors. They collect something else. That's the thing. When you go to the national, it's like if you have other interests. I know we're talking about hockey cards, but there's going to be everything else there that you might be interested in to find too.
I'm really hoping to find 90s stuff and maybe some boxes for our expo event that we'll start talking about soon. All right, Phil. We got to make it a plan. Maybe we should do. I would love to get to the point where we could do something to promote the hockey hobby here in the U.S. And so maybe I'll try to meet the national people and talk about that too. We'll see. Okay, we're gonna move on to new product.
Network.
I'm a networker. All right. We have kind of a tie into the national for new product releases. Before we get into that, though, just a reminder: Allure drops Wednesday. We'll have our initial thoughts on Thursday's show, but it is the national. Upper Deck is doing their Rapper Redemption program, very similar to what they do for the Expo. So if you go ahead and buy any of the following boxes or cases, you'll qualify for one of the Upper Deck Redemption packs. So it's 2022-23 Ultimate. That's the only 2022 product. Then it's all 2023-24. It's Trilogy, Synergy, Extended, and Black Diamond Hockey. Then if you want to go outside of hockey, you can get Metal Universe Champions for 2023, and then SP Game Used Golf and Upper Deck Golf. So how it works, again, just like with the Expo, is if you buy one of the boxes on the list from an Upper Deck certified diamond dealer, and you take the receipt, essentially they give you a redemption thing. The Upper Deck's booth, that's number 5008 at the National, you'll receive one redemption pack. If you buy a case, you get 10 packs plus one random auto card. Now, Upper Deck will promote some pretty nice autos, but those typically get reserved for people that buy cases. So if you buy a box or just one box, you might get an auto in your redemption pack, but it's not going to be like Wayne Gretzky kind of a deal. So I have a couple quick photos we can show basically got this from Upper Deck's blog, but the cards there's like a top shelf NHL rookie card. Most of the key 2023-24 rookies, of course, there's a Connor Bedard. So, yeah, kind of pretty basic looking rookie. Then they have a national worthy card. Hockey players on this checklist include like Gretzky, McDavid, Shane Wright. Can't stop Shane Wright. Slavkovsky and Bobby Orr. There will be some low numbered parallels too. There are national worthy autos, so they're numbered as high as 125, as low as 10. So Gretzky would be, I think it's going to be a sticker auto for that card.
That's a nice card.
Looks great. Yeah. I need to talk to Upper Deck about these pictures though. It's kind of blocky,
a little blurry too, eh?
Yeah, it's from their blog. So
well, I just checked Beckett's site too, and it's the same thing, same pictures. So
there's a Gretzky McDavid dual auto out of 5. So again, you're not going to get that unless you buy a case. You probably won't get this Gretzky unless you buy a case either. There's golf and wrestling cards as well. Again, it's a basic overview. It's pretty standard kind of for what Upper Deck does at both the Expo and National, but just wanted to run through those in case anyone's going. Okay. Got to make before we get into Mailbag, a very quick mention for Gongshow partner and sponsor, Fanatics Collect. Super grateful for their support. A lot going on with the Fanatics Collect launch. Be sure to stop by their booth, 5,000 this week. If it's booth number 5,000 at the National in Cleveland, Ohio. We highlighted some of the initial changes and improvements in our last show already. Oh, one quick note I saw today at the National. If you drop off a card or submit through them for the weekly auction, I believe it is, If the card is valued at $200 or more, you get 110% of the hammer price.
Ah,
Remember, the way their auctions work is that they charge a buyer's fee of there it is right now, Troy. If you scroll down on the website
oh,
a
there
little
it
bit,
is.
yeah,
Right here.
110% of the
Oh,
hammer.
wait, come back
So
here.
you sell your card sells for $200, you actually get 220 of that. You essentially split the commission with them.
Here, everyone, read this if you're watching on YouTube. I don't know what
We're
else
gonna
to
pause so everyone can read
Pause so
tiny
everyone
print
read this real
on
quick.
YouTube. And if you're listening,
I would do this. None of
anything.
that. Enough of that.
Yeah. So that's one thing that they're doing, which I think is kind of cool. A lot of changes. The website is much faster, which is a good thing. They've reimagined the buy now marketplace and selling fee structure. Again, another kind of good bonus for the hobby is if you sell a card for less than $120 in their buy now marketplace, you only pay a 6% fee. That's what less than half of what eBay fees would be on a sale like that. So that's pretty cool. And then they announced their partnership with PSA. So you can seamlessly get your cards graded by PSA, whether you're sending them in raw for an auction or you just want to put them in the vault. They have that service now as well. And of course, I'd expect a lot more announcements to come. One thing Fanatics does is innovate and innovate a lot. So there you go. Finally, don't forget about the current Fanatics Collect weekly auction. Runs through this upcoming Sunday. We'll feature our favorite cards on Thursday during our show. And head to fanaticscollect.com. Check out all the amazing cards. Get those bids in. Mailbag time.
Let's do it.
You guys ready? You still awake, Phil? You with
Let's
us?
do it. I'm more awake.
All right, let's go. YouTube, Bobby Dice. Could you, Troy, and Phil go over what you like about the Clear Cut series? In recent shows, it seems like you guys are starting to warm up to this product more and more. So I'm going to let you guys, I'm just going to go first because I have very brief comments and let you guys expand. There's a few cards I like from Clear Cut, but I wouldn't put myself on the list of warming. I'm not the hugest fan. So maybe you guys, maybe it's, I always say this too. It's probably mostly sour grapes because I literally never pull a good card when I buy it. But I don't know. What do you guys like about Clear Cut?
Well, am I going to be the one guy that doesn't like a card that's actually a clear cut? Isn't that where the UD canvas, red ink, and blue ink autos are usually in?
Yeah, it's not acetate. If that's what
yeah, it's not acetate. I love those cards. I think they look so cool. And unlike Josh, I've only bought how many, like two boxes of Clear Cut, and I got my box cost back at least.
You
So
did? What'd you get?
Henrik Zetterberg UD canvas red ink
Nice.
and a Jake Gensel high gloss. I think it was out of 10 Clear Cut or whatever they.
You got more than $100 for that?
Hurricanes legend, Jake Ensel.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I think the red ink autos on the Zetterberg, those are all, they're numbered out of the jersey.
The jersey
right?
number,
like
yeah.
44 or something like
Yep.
that.
Yeah. So buying the box is probably a losing proposition, but they do make some pretty cool cards that I would definitely buy as singles.
Well, I'd like to clarify. I'm not warming up to the series. I will never buy a box. Sorry, Dave, California Dave. Like, come on, guys. I will never buy a box of Clear Cut. But when I do like a card from Clear Cut, usually the 90-91 Upper Deck design or the 91-92, there's even some nice Future Watch I like out of them. I love them. I absolutely love them, and I want to get them in my PC. But like 9 out of 10, I would even say like 95% of the cards I don't really like. Like Brady, I'm a big Brady guy, and all his Clear Cuts rookie years are all of that horrible 2012 design with the little tribal swooshy thingies. It's terrible. I don't know.
It's like
one
the Iron
Brady...
Gate, like the
I
Iron
can't
Gate.
stand it. It's hideous. Oh, it's so bad, man. Everyone's always trying to sell me, oh, it's a high gloss of Clear Cut. I'm like, dude, I don't want it. Anyway, yeah. So I like what I like, but I really don't like them when I don't like them.
Okay, next question. Instagram, Wood Table Hockey Cards. So I just realized that I thought we basically have had two people ironically basically ask this question. And I thought the second time that it was asked last week. So I'm going to kind of answer both right now. Had I known that they were both this week, I would have put them together. And very blessed because we get so many questions. Sometimes it's hard to keep track. But he says, have you guys tracked the value of all the boxes you've opened this year or since the beginning of the show? If you did, are you able to share the ROI or at least estimate? So that would be super smart. Yeah. We don't, don't count on us to be smart, but of course we haven't, which I am mad at myself now. while I don't know the exact amount, I can 100% guarantee it's negative. If I had to guess, it's probably in the negative 25 to 30%.
Maybe more than that. It might be negative 105%. We probably owe money somehow, some way on these cards, on these boxes we bought.
You get an
And you just
invoice in the mail.
We get an invoice for buying them. Additional invoice for such crappy cards.
Kind of our point in doing so is to illustrate the fact that you can't look at opening wax as like a way to make money in the hobby.
Yeah, no.
You will very quickly go broke.
Stashing
You have
wax,
to
right?
you have
That's
to do it because you like the experience of opening packs of cards. I mean, that has to be part of your equation. Otherwise, you're going to be very disappointed. So, Facebook, Bob McKenzie. He says, heading to a card show soon and want to pick up some singles. Are there any vintage or classic cards you would consider must-haves or staples of a collection? Also, what do you think is a vintage card people overlook and is grossly undervalued? Well, almost all vintage is overlooked and grossly undervalued. Phil, maybe you should answer this as our vintage expert. And as you've already said, no, Bob, I look at anything, and we'll get Troy and Phil your comments too, but anything early Gretzky, like 79 to 85 is what I would consider sort of those early ones. I love 51 Parkies. There's a 54 Topps Gordie Howe. Mike Bossy rookie is overlooked. Guy Lafleur, 1971. OPG or Topps. It doesn't really matter. There's just so many that, but just pick favorite players or players from your favorite team that speak to you. A lot of really nice vintage cards are actually much more affordable than modern cards too.
Good point. Very good point.
What do you guys think about this? Phil, you want to start?
Yeah, I everything you said, I agree with. I go from my childhood. So like Pat LaFontaine, he's somebody that I thought was phenomenal growing up. People know who he is, but his cards are so cheap. So I just make sure I have a Pat LaFontaine rookie somewhere in my old box. It's probably not in the best condition, but I love it. I'm not grading it. It's just a nice raw card. Dale Hawerchuk's another one. I like how you throw out some Guy Lafleurs. Like you can get a second, third year Guy Lafleur. Beautiful card at very reasonable prices. I love Guy Lafleur. My uncle was when I grew up in Montreal, my uncle had a couple of posters in his office of Guy Lafleur. So things that I remember from my childhood are pretty easy to go and acquire today. So I would just do what you love, man. I know it's cliche and cheesy, but it works. And I still go through all my old cards as well of the players I like. And it's not a grading thing. It's not a money thing for me. I like their Esso gas stations put out a bunch of hockey cards in the 80s that aren't worth that much, but I love them. I have them. I have the book. So buy the things you love, man. It makes you smile, and it'll make you keep smiling over and over again.
I'm gonna build off of Phil's, like you said, things in our childhood. 83, 84 OPG for me, just because it reminds me of being a kid watching hockey. And I love how a lot of the cards in that set, the rinks look dingy and dark. That's what I remember. And then, like being a North Stars wild guy going through boxes is always fun because you'll find, like, you'll find stuff that you just wouldn't even realize is in these boxes. So, do hunting, buy what you like, stick to a budget, don't go crazy.
He did say the must-haves is hard, right? Like if you said, what are the must-haves now?
Well, I would go Young Guns.
Yeah, Young Guns, Swaps, all that. But must-haves and classic, I don't know. What's a must-have for you, right? Like a Peter Sidorkowicz rookie card from the 90s is a must-have for me. From the 80s, sorry. But
and Danny Heatley, right?
No, not Danny Heatley.
Okay.
So you're yucking my yum, Troy. So that card from the 80s means a lot to me. No one really cares about Peter Sidorkowicz, but that card means the world to me. So it's a must-have for my collection. So I would try to do it like that.
Instagram, Jets Collector. If you could be replaced on one hockey card as the player, which card would you choose and why? And he says, P.S. Phil never shaved that mustache. No.
Oh, jeez.
Phil, we didn't give you you might have to think of something on the fly. Troy and had more time to prepare. I'll let you go first, Troy.
Okay. Before I go, Louis just made a fantastic point on the last question. You might not know what the must-have is until you see it in the box. Agree 1,000%. So box hunt. Okay. For my card, I went with this one because I still love this. I just want my face on this card. If you're watching on YouTube, it's the 1983-84. Funny how I just said that. OPG, Ron Duguay. He's got awesome flow. I want my face on this card because I don't have as much hair as him. And I love this card. And I still can't believe we ran into him at the expo. And then he was at the expo, but we saw what's her name? Sarah Palin. And I'm like, why is Sarah Palin at the Toronto Sports Card Expo? This was like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And then I found out she was dating him at the time. I don't know if they're dating now or married, but just kind of cracked me up.
I 100% can almost guarantee Bobby's going to make your wish happen. Look forward in Gongshow Discord tomorrow to seeing your face. So I had to go with a newer card, but I would love
this
one of my favorite cards of all time is the 2023-24 Upper Deck Kyle Palmieri Outburst Silver. I think it's the most insane hockey card ever. I just love it. And yeah,
did I ever tell you I got outbid on the gold outburst of this?
You did?
It was on eBay at one point, and I thought I put in a healthy offer. I was like, I am getting this card because we talked about it because we were on with Billy. Billy was pulled this, I think, when we were doing the opening of the packs, and I'm like, Billy, like this thing obviously looks like something is emanating from his rump, we'll just say. And then the gold outburst was on eBay, and
what would you have paid for that?
I want to say I put in like over. What did I put? I thought I put in over 100. I'm gonna try to find it.
Whoa,
I'm gonna try to
crazy.
I'm gonna see if I can find it on Terapeak while we're talking because now I'm worried that I like dreamt it and
lucid dream.
Right, Phil, can you think of anything a card on the fly that you would?
Yeah, any day with the cup. I'll make it nice and easy. Any card with a day in the cup and just replace me with that.
Would you put hot dogs in it like our Phil Kessel?
No, I'd put souvlaki. Big skewers of souvlaki.
What? I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
What? Greek food? Souvlaki?
I know what gyros are.
Whoa, what? You can't be serious right now. Like,
no.
You don't know what souvlaki chicken is?
No. Are you going to cook
for
us
my goodness. This is great. Do you know what shawarma is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's Lebanese more, but we'll talk.
I found
after.
it. There it is. Crazy. And obviously, I didn't put $100 because it only sold for $79. So maybe I'm just or $70. So maybe I bid like, I don't know what I was doing. Maybe it was one of the classic ones where I'm like, I'm gonna get this card, and then I'm at baseball, and this is when it goes live, and I'm like, I can't.
Always happens that way, Troy. Always happens.
But there it is. Somewhat proud one is the proud one. If you listen to our show and you own this card, reach out. I'll buy it from you.
For $11,000. This is final offer.
Okay. Offer.
If we don't hurry up, this is going to be Thursday's show.
Yes.
Instagram. LaCoupe Stanley. Are you watching King of Collectibles on Netflix? The show is an interesting insight into the business side of the hobby, the tactics they use to obtain items and drive up sales price as much as possible. I suppose you could argue that by getting top dollar, they're also helping the seller, but sometimes I feel icky when I watch it. Who wants to go first?
I will go because I've not watched the show. The reason why is I think it's a show I want to sit down and binge, and I just haven't found the time to binge through them all yet. And Josh, you kind of warned me that there's a video game collection that might break my brain when I see it. So I've been mentally preparing myself for that, and I'm not the biggest Ken Golden guy. I know he's just not a person I enjoy watching all the time. So I'd have to get past that. But I've heard good things about the show on just how it kind of gives you an insight to it. But again, it's a curated message, we'll call it, because you're seeing it kind of from one side.
Yeah, I guess that's my problem with it is that it's very performative, right? Anytime they do these like docu-series, they're very like I knew a guy who was a writer for reality TV. The writing staffs on reality TV shows are bigger than on sitcoms. And so it's like I don't know how much of actually insight you get into the day-to-day operations of even what like Golden is like. And then I want to be careful here too, because Ken has a really big ego, and a lot of people do, and I understand that, but that's a little bit of a turnoff for me. I like people that show a little bit more humility, I guess. So, maybe that doesn't resonate with me as much there. I don't know, Phil, do you watch the show?
No, I don't. I like authenticity, and hey, like different strokes for different folks, but
yep.
It's not my tribe, not my people. Not my, and it's not really a behind the scenes. If you saw a real behind the scenes, you wouldn't. You won't. We all know that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not the real deal.
Instagram, Photoworks. He says, "What ya at, boys? I have a serious question here now. Are new players' cards more valuable before their Young Guns card is released? Big old example here. We got a great kid, Logan Stankoven, for the Stars, and his official Young Guns hasn't dropped. He is included in the latest Synergy set, and a few cards and other cards included, like Light Up the Night, Synergy Rookie, from what I've seen. How do those early cards fare before the Young Guns is released? Also, hey, Phil, thank you for representing Canada, my guy."
Yes, sir, my man.
So I would say in general, like any
Yeah.
pre-Young Guns release, if you're inclined to move it, do it before the Young Guns comes
Yes.
out. We saw this with Bedard. That card the Young Guns is the most probably important card, the most chased after card, and it will hurt, lower demand for anything prior to that, I would think. Do you guys agree or disagree with that?
Total agree.
Totally agree. Yep.
Instagram, Av Cards. Will OPG paper keep its momentum from the 2023-24 class? It was a really fun rip.
I don't know if it was fun because it was too expensive for me. I was too sad to order it, but I hope so. Hope box prices come back to light but down to earth.
I've opened one box, and I love that product so much. It's crazy that I've opened, but I'm not going to spend $200 US on a box.
It's still 200, eh? It's still a lot.
Look.
It was 190 last time we checked.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
So is it kind of price you out too, Phil?
Yeah, I traded my two. I traded my 2 boxes for 6 Parker's Champions boxes, and that's where I got my OV patch auto. Best deal ever.
Hey, breaking news! It's on sale for $169.95 at David Adams US.
Ooh, you gonna do it, Josh? That was great.
Those are
Great
breaking news.
I'm glad it's coming down a little bit. That restores my faith
Give me
in
this
humanity.
$80, then I'll be happy.
The next question is from Doghouse Hockey. I believe Phil just shouted out.
Yeah, Doghouse Hockey Cards.
He says, great question. With Fanatics taking over other sports in the hobby, there have been some questionable moves, he said, with product releases. Specifically, the new Topps Chrome Baseball, where Topps showed some veteran autograph cards that turned out only to be available in a breakers-only product. What do you think it would do to the hockey hobby if Upper Deck began releasing a tiered product only for breakers and only releasing some of the big chase cards for breakers only? I'm pretty sure the hobby would implode. But what do you think, Phil?
Yeah, no, as I was reading that, I'm like, I get it in theory. And that would be fantastic, but it's not going to work. Just like communism, right? Oh, it looks good on paper. Never work. Never will work. So, yeah, it's a great idea, but what a bunch of shenanigans going on. I hope when the dust settles, we have some good framework of procedures for these.
Sorry, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with the hockey thing. I don't think it would be handled very well if Upper Deck came out with that. I think the amount of bad press, and I go back and forth with this. It's like I hate it from a standpoint of I wish these cards were in hobby boxes, but then I go back. Well, they can differentiate their products, I guess, however they want. And if they're open and out front about it, like these cards are only in this breaker product, maybe then I can live with it. I don't like it.
I hate that though. Do you?
Yeah,
like
I know.
that?
I'm with you. I still don't like it.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to like rationalize it. Like,
and I like breaks. I breakers are good. I think if they're done well with full transparency, hey man, they got to make money too, right? But I think breakers are great. It gives you an opportunity to get in some big high priced items. But what's going on down in your neck of the woods in America with the loaded breaker boxes and it's undeniable at this point, right? Like it's undeniable. You can't. All these breakers are getting some pretty monster hit cards, and you have case breaks of not even a case hit in certain YouTube channels. It's not good.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, Instagram, Top Shelf Cookie Sniper Podcast. Our friend Jay says, first time, long time listener. Jay, you ask a question about every show. Maybe up your dementia medication there. He said, love you, Jay. He said, you guys are great. I love the addition of Phil from the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
When Phil gets going, reminds me of the puppet from there. So I think that's a compliment, Phil.
Yeah, I'll take it. Okay, absolutely.
His
Fantastic.
question is, since this show looks at a bunch of great cards, if you could pick one Sidney Crosby auto to buy for under $2,000 US, what are your guys' choices? I'm in the market looking for thoughts from informed hockey card people. Phil, I'm really interested to get your opinion because this is more like your lane probably than mine. I don't look for
I'm not a Crosby
autos,
guy.
but I would think that just about every Crosby auto is under 2,000. Like I think you could even find probably a pretty decent limited logo for $2,000. I would guess.
Completely, I would think. Call Mitch Grotman. He's probably got some for sale right now.
Yeah, I don't know what I say. I'm not a Crosby guy, but I found this when I read this question. I thought this looked cool. You guys let me know if you agree, disagree. So this
Love that.
Crosby, it's a
Beauty.
Panini.
Yeah.
Panini Dominion patch auto. BG. I don't care about the slab, but $915 it sold for.
US? Yeah, USD.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Crack it right out of the case, and you got
Yeah,
a
look at that
beautiful
auto.
card.
Clean Crosby auto. Game. I think it's game. I'm pretty sure it's game news. I think I looked at that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you can find great Crosby autos for under 2,000 for sure.
You might be able to get two.
Yeah.
Do we have to call you Panini Troy from now on?
I am. I'm digging them. I'm digging old Panini hockey stuff.
All right. Instagram, Deke Grigsy 919. Here's a great question that I don't even know the answer to, but maybe you guys do. As a longtime Bure collector, what's with the increase in his popularity now?
Great question.
I have no idea, but I love it. I'm sure he doesn't love it because prices are going up. But
yeah, well, the only thing I could think of, because
was there like a documentary or something released we don't know about?
I don't know. There's over the last year, I think you could say there's been first an emergence in 90s inserts, and now I think the early 2000s. My new obsession. I shouldn't even say this because I'm just gonna. This cost myself money. This is why being a collector doing a show like this. I am so in love with like early 2000s Pacific hockey cards. Have you guys experienced this yet?
I got Pekka Rene's.
All yours.
Like
our buddy
Pacific
Seth.
Revolution.
Our buddy Seth found me a Pekka at the expo, and I bought it.
That's crazy. He just got another Prism card. He texts me once a week. I got another Prism Gold. Where the heck he gets this crap?
Beyond that, though, that's what I can think of. So you guys don't have any guesses, even?
No, I agree. Somehow, some way, I feel his name's kicking around more. I see more of his cards, and he's got some beautiful cards, right? That Vancouver patch, very nice.
Troy,
I don't. I was trying to think of some witty response, but I don't. It's just I know we've just kind of seen the stuff happening, and we talked about it a lot on the show, so we've kind of seen it firsthand.
There's always been, I think, like a small group of very avid collectors, and it just seems to be growing at this point. Instagram, Stores19. This will be, I think, a short one. What's the website where you can search up a player's entire card catalog from rookie to present day? I think he's talking about TCDB.
Yeah, it's the best.
TCDB.com. The best. By far the best to do that. And I was texting back with Louie, and I do this about once a month where I'm putting my whole collection from my spreadsheets into TCDB. And I start and I get through like 100 cards and I'm like, oh, this is going to take a long time. And then I stop. But I would love to have everything in there because I think it's so cool. Like the search stuff you can do on it and everything.
Instagram, Ryan Moss. When will outside competition come in and make hockey cards great again?
Need more licenses out there.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, if the NHL and the NHLPA want one manufacturer, they're going to have one manufacturer. It's their right, as much as we don't like it. And if it's Upper Deck, that's fine. I think Upper Deck does a great job with hockey cards. I actually wrote this. When I thought this, I put this down. I now want Upper Deck to buy Panini so they can use those Panini brands, axe the Upper Deck brands we don't like anymore that we complain about, and bring in those cool Panini brands and make those hockey cards.
How much are they paying you? How much is Panini paying you?
I'm a shill for Panini.
Wouldn't we want Panini?
And you know what? If they were paying me, I would get my redemptions that have been sitting there for 3 years at Panini.
wouldn't we want Panini to stay Panini? Because then we'd get better cards. If Upper Deck just owns everything, I mean,
Well, yeah, for sure. But I'm saying if the NHL and the NHLPA are going to be like, nope, we want
Oh,
one.
okay.
Then we got to go a different route. But yeah, competition would be fantastic. It
What do you
just
think, Phil?
ups the game for both of them.
You need competition. The world will not get better if it's not competing with itself, right? Same thing with hockey. You get the best products, you get the best everything when you compete.
Mm-hmm. I think it comes down to griping that we all have aside, that the NHL and NHLPA will look at probably the sales numbers, revenue numbers,
Mhm.
however they perceive it easy to work with Upper Deck, and if those things are all positive, it's easier to have one partner than multiple. So
Is there not framework? Like what about the NFL or the NBA? Like, is there not, do one of those leagues not, I know it's a fiasco right now with the licenses and everything, but was there a time in history when things were structured properly with healthy competition?
but everything's exclusive now. I can't think of one license that isn't.
Well, back in the day, though, you had Tops making
Yeah. Well,
football and
What's the benefit of exclusivity? Like, they just don't want problems. Like one license.
easy relationship.
Okay.
You deal with one manufacturer.
mm-hmm. And things are cyclical, so I don't think it'll stay like this forever. One sport will break it up, and then the other, will follow. So.
Like imagine there was only Windows operating systems. There was never Linux or Mac, or like we would still be DOS command prompt.
If don't worry, Microsoft tried that. They really tried to make it.
I know they did, but if you gotta keep shooting high, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Facebook, Andrew Shee, great question. I've talked to a lot of stores that have SB Authentic pre-sales at 600 Canadian per box, and they're not selling too well. Does this mean a price correction is around the corner, or will retailers hold strong? What do you think, Phil?
I think retailers are at the mercy of their distributors, and they don't have much of a choice to do anything.
Do you think when we say this, I think, does this sound better if we say like hobby shops are more likely to stick at their price, where Dave and Adams or these big online stores can just be like, screw it, we need to get rid of this stuff. It's sitting in the warehouse. Let's liquidate.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I bought 2 cases of Parker's Champions for less than cost, and he was more than happy to give them to me. Than happy to give them to me. He has that luxury, that seller. My local LCS doesn't. Right? They're inundated with they have to get a storage unit for their overflow. That's insane. Insane.
Do you think anyone in the world's opened more Parker's Champions than you?
Yes, of course. Don't be silly. Of course. You think? Maybe? I don't know.
I don't know.
I love it. I know it's such a waste of money, but it's not, because it makes me happy.
There you go. Okay. Facebook, Robert Scharf. I have some of these acetate ice performer cards, and they have like what seems to be a plastic film lifting on the corners. Are these removable films left there initially for protection of the surface, or can they be peeled off, or are they part of the acetate film and a defect? I wasn't too familiar with these. He's got a picture of here. One, it seems like that it is a film. Now I think it doesn't look like it has like the peel stuff going on there too. And if you're having a hard time getting them off, it could be due to the age. I mean, that could be part of it too, but I don't know enough. Are you familiar with the Ice Performer set, Phil?
No, I'm not. But I know his name's Robert Scarf. That's a popular name up here.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
Scarf.
Yeah.
That would be SC. Okay.
Yeah. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
Is that British? British?
I'm not sure, Joshy Poo. I'd have to take a look.
Oh. Okay. Troy, anything to add to that?
I got nothing.
How are we doing? Are we keeping? Are we gonna? I feel like I'm mentally powering down.
He's wired.
You are good.
Oh, I'm wired.
All right, here we go. Discord, Bewley Shop. He said, if you guys were looking for one very specific card with it not being available on eBay, where would you guys be searching to try to find it? In my case, it's the 2016-17 Zach Sanford Clear Cut Young Guns. I would maybe start like there's some pretty big Facebook groups, like the Slapshot has a really big one in their marketplace. Maybe try like blowout forums. You'd post to these and say, hey, I'm looking for this card. Anyone have it? Otherwise, just do a quick search on all the big ones. ComC, My Card Post, Fanatics Collect. I'm sure. What am I forgetting?
Do you guys have an American? So up here in Canada, we have Kijiji. Does that sound like something?
No,
Okay.
That's not real.
No, okay, yeah, I know it does. It sounds fake. But do you have like an online a big American used platform online that's everyone Craigslist, but a nicer one? So I would search Craigslist.
Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, Facebook Marketplace would be
So we have an online thing in Canada. It's got that weird name. It's called Kijiji. It's so silly. But I put Canada.
That's not real.
No, I know it's not real, but it is real. I'll show you. But I put all of Canada, and then if I find a hockey card I like on there, and I found a Brady Tkachuk exclusive from Alberta on that platform, and the guy was like, "What? You're in Ottawa?" Anyways, long story short, I got the card. So you never know.
Yeah, so
if you really want something.
You said what? ComC, My Card Post, Fanatics Collect, Facebook groups. What's that one site that is just a random, but I've seen people buy stuff. Maybe that's more hobby, like Mercari, maybe. I know I've seen people buy stuff from there. I don't trust it, but it's like Temu to me. I don't know if I can
try it. I mean, I wouldn't, but you should.
Instagram, you can put a thing out on Instagram. There's a lot of collectors on Instagram that post stuff all the time. You just never know.
Yeah.
Facebook is where I would probably start, though. Just find those groups.
Okay. Instagram, the club hockey cards. Oh, here's the second question. He said,
okay,
what's the average ROI of box breaking since the last year, since the beginning of your podcast? 25 to 30%, maybe. So
yeah, no one makes money ripping wax. Come on.
Builderboo Rips from Instagram. What are your thoughts on this kind of strikes to our conversation with Richard Fu on our last show. Says, what are your thoughts on there being 8 2021-22 rookie shields on ePack from Ultimate Collection? I feel like this is a disproportionate amount to what's been opened or shipped and sealed products. Plus, we don't even know how many of the others were converted and sent to ComC or the owner. One little correction there that I'm sorry, is cards don't get sent to ComC from ePack. Cards are at ComC.
Yeah.
And they're just that's Upper Deck doesn't warehouse any of their physical cards. When a product is made available on ePack, they're shipped to ComC beforehand. But technicality there. He said, as someone who has ripped over a personal case and taken parts in dozens of group breaks with shield bounties, I kind of feel cheated. So he's saying that there's 8 101 NHL rookie shields right now on ePack. And you can't even discount that maybe a few more haven't been transferred or sent to, shipped to the owner. And it kind of speaks to the heart of that question: is should be these really, really big cards be on ePack? So Phil, why don't you start?
No, they shouldn't. I don't think they should, or all of them should. It's one or the other. I don't like this back and forth, and it's going to get weirder. I think they're going to say, "Oh, if you buy a $99 package a month, you can get this discount, 10%." It's going to get more weird and silly. I think all the big hits should be in a hobby box that you buy at a store or you order online and you can open it physically. That's what card collecting is.
And I think, in fairness and conversation, what ePack or what Upper Deck does is and I'm just using example numbers here. And Troy, you tell me if I'm explaining this as it's been explained to us, is that they make a product and they say, we're going to allocate 30% of the product to ePack. They basically allocate 30% of the hits. So it's very proportionate to what was, whatever percentage of that product is allocated to the platform. Now, whether you like that or not, that's obviously up for interpretation. I don't know, Troy, what do you think of this whole deal?
Yeah, this gets back to the whole, if as long as they're upfront about it, I don't know. To me, I know what it is. We live with it. I think we need to have we need to have the EPAC guy back on at some point. I think talk
Daniel.
about this some more. Daniel, yes, Daniel. We need to have Daniel back on and kind of go at this again. But I'm curious because with the 8 shields, I don't know how many shields are in the product. That if we knew that, maybe it would help frame this a little bit more. Because if there's like 100 shields in the product, then 8 doesn't seem like that much. But I don't know how many there are.
I think if their culture was nicer or their culture was more touched grassy, things would be easier. I think EPAC is great. I actually, maybe it's one of those things like I get mad at them because I want to be one of them. I don't know. But every time I tried, go ahead.
It's just, I was just saying, it's just weird having this EPAC product, but it's also the same product that's in a physical store. And it's like, I want a separation. I want different products, like the EPAC exclusives. I can live with the EPAC exclusives, or else we're going to, I don't like the merging of both.
I get your point, but it kills me that 2021 Fleer wasn't physical too.
Yeah.
And the only thing I would throw into this conversation is if you're going to put a product on EPAC, it has to have hits. Otherwise, nobody would buy it. Right. So either
they don't send you the base. You can't get the base.
Maybe this argues your point, Troy. Maybe it has to be, here's the EPAC exclusive products. And because in some ways too, it's like where I would even take more umbrage with EPAC than Shield cards being on there is kind of how the role of EPAC has damaged some of my favorite cards. Like you look at PM like Jambalayas, right? When you had EPAC achievement Jambalayas and then original Jam, it's like, no, stop with. I have a love-hate relationship with, it's like I kind of like the whole silver foil and speckle rainbow Young Guns. I wouldn't buy any, but it's a way to make a base Young Guns different. And it's unique to that platform, and you can only get it. Or the rainbow color wheels for OPG Platinum. Like, I don't mind unique cards to it, but I don't like when they have like a parallel of a hobby card either. That makes sense.
What achievement card has been like highly sought after? I can't think of one. What, the Spectrum FX? Woo! Like, oh wow! Like, you know how many times I've been offered a 101 Spectrum FX? Like, I could care less.
Probably the most successful is the speckled rainbow Young Guns. I mean, those.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I do not own one, so I'm a card snob at this.
And they basically sell for what the equivalent, because they're what 15 Young Guns. I mean, that's the essential equivalency of it. But that's a good point.
Got the rainbow.
Yeah, there a lot of those achievements and parallels and the EPAC exclusive cards are really cool, but you're right, they don't seem to have a ton of market relevancy down the road.
I don't know. They're cute. They're adorable.
Instagram, Knucklehead36. Do you know if there's a possibility of being in my card post app eventually? He says, plus make Phil a permanent host. He is great.
Thank you, Knucklehead. I am once a week. So far, so good.
The app is almost done. I'm actually a tester, and it's awesome. Nice. So very, very excited. They're just Mark and crew are just going through fixing all the bugs, and so I would assume it'll be pretty soon. And who's Phil? I don't know who's talking about.
Who's that guy?
Instagram, Alex K1M. Does the value of a rookie card change if the player currently plays for a different team than they were on when their rookie card came out? Examples are when Subban went to the Preds or Carlson to the Sharks.
I'd say yes.
Yeah. So let's say if there's a player that is awesome. Okay. So let's say Tarasenko had scored 60 goals when he came to Ottawa, and he signed a 7-year contract. Yeah. Would you have a harder time collecting his rookies if it was all Blues cards essentially?
Yes. Yes, yeah. I struggle with that all the time. All the time. That's why I get so mad when everyone's like, "Oh, Brady Tkachuk's going to New Jersey." No, he's not, because my cards are staying in an Ottawa jersey. Yeah. So yeah, like Carlson. Not a lot of people buy Erik Karlsson anymore. It breaks my heart. I'll buy any Erik Karlsson card I see if it's a good one. Love that guy, but he's not a fan favorite. City doesn't really talk about him. No one
Yeah,
buys these cards anymore. They drop, they tank. You can buy a cup RPA for like $200 now, 3-color. No one cares. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you, Phil. I think so.
I think it takes a little bit away.
Mhm.
Louis says, I think it depends on where he is in his career. Later may not affect it as much as the first few years, like after.
Well, yeah, if you're like an all-time legend, right? That
Like
probably doesn't
Stamkos.
affect you. Or
Let him.
Gretzky. Think of Gretzky. He played for the Rangers, plays for the Kings.
You went
He's
right
like
to
the exception to everything.
You went
though.
right to the top, Troy. You can't pick the top guy. Pick Stamkos. I mean, well, his cards aren't probably going to change.
No one cares
much,
about him
you know?
anyway. It doesn't matter where he's at.
That's true. Hey, yeah.
I love this question. JT Hockey. He says, when you hit another EPAC kind of related question. When you hit a big card on EPAC, you get a flashing red light and unnecessarily loud goal horn goes off. He's like, why hasn't UD created this technology for hobby boxes? I should be able to have a heart attack opening physical boxes too, right?
Yeah.
I would. That would be amazing. It would probably scare the crap out of me, though.
Yeah, it would be awesome. I think probably due to I'm trying to think of a realistic answer. It's probably because then someone would know where these hits are in the box, and it's probably a little bit
Metal detector. The hit's in here.
Yeah, or the auditing. Even the auditing of like it's kind of reminds me of the Monopoly game, right? Where the one guy knew all the pieces and he was just giving it to his family members. Like it was a bunch of controversy, but.
All right, next question. Discord Ojibwe 86.
Panini. I love it.
You see companies, Troy, did you pay Ojibwe to?
Oh my gosh. And I can't even stand Panini, so this is what's so funny about all this.
You see companies like Panini doing special products for world tournaments such as Euro and the World Cup. Has UD ever released a high-end hockey hobby box for World Cup of Hockey or any other type of tournament? Do you think they ever will? Well, they do Team Canada sets, right? So wouldn't that be the kind of equivalent to that? They do nothing here in America, but
I didn't even know they do Team Canada sets. I had no idea.
Oh, you stop.
The first
I don't
Upper
pay
Deck
attention.
cards.
Are those
Program of
Panini
excellence.
cards those early 90s? I don't think so.
No.
No, he's talking about like they do for soccer. So like they'll do.
Panini will do Euro cards for like soccer. The Euro
Man,
Championships.
you think I look at soccer card boxes? Not a chance.
I would love to see Upper Deck. I don't know if it has to be its own product, but with the NHL players going back to the Olympics, hopefully they have like some like cup subsets or something like that. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, hold on. I found some. Oh, this is just one card.
Yeah, but you're bad to ask this question though, Phil, because hockey cards are always loaded with, Team Canada jerseys. Everybody's in Team Canada, right?
They have World Cup of Hockey tribute cards. Like I'm just looking at one on eBay right now.
Patriotism is at an all-time low. So the Olympics aren't a thing anymore. Like no one's proud.
I can't wait for the Olympics. I'm so excited.
I hope so. Well, we are, but the common man.
Yeah. Can you hear you, Troy?
All right.
What were you saying?
Nothing. Next question.
What happened?
Obviously, whatever I was saying wasn't important enough. You guys totally skipped me when I said I had a solution to the whole EPAC.
Oh,
I didn't hear you. You were on mute.
This was like, no, I wasn't on mute. This was like 5 questions ago. I was saying my solution. This is back on EPAC with the different products. I said, again, buy Panini and make those sweet Panini hockey cards as EPAC only. There you go. Problem solved.
Oh,
now you have your EPAC product.
Troy, that's a great idea. Why didn't you say that earlier?
I tried. I'm now delirious.
I'm pretty. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
And if anyone can go back and find it about 6 minutes ago from now, you'll see a point where I looked at the clock and see what time it is, and I think my eyes literally got big. So I'm sure they'll be on Discord tomorrow.
You're good. You're doing great. We're all doing good.
We have a few more left. We can do this. I believe in us. Instagram, Hammer 66 cards. Why is Mario Lemieux's rookie so undervalued? Will it ever pop off? Okay, well, I'll start this, and then we're going to go to Troy. Is his PSA 10 still worth 30 grand? Is he undervalued? Do we think that?
Well, people that like Lemieux love Lemieux, right? So, what? Did I miss an inside joke?
I said I was going to go to Troy.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm an idiot.
This is the
okay.
theme of this show, I think. That's why I kept asking if my mic was on, if anyone could hear me. Because I was like I said something and no one said it. They just kept going.
Oh, what are we doing?
I'll tell you right
so
now,
sorry, Troy.
I've never thought of Lemieux as being undervalued, but maybe I need to relook at that because just this question took me by surprise. I was like, oh, I never thought he was, but maybe.
If you're comparing him to Gretzky, everybody's undervalued. But if you take the Gretzky thing out, then who's maybe 51 Gordie Howe? But I don't know if he is undervalued.
30
I'm trying to think. So end of 2023, a Golden 31,720 for a PSA 10. I mean, that's an OPG. Interesting. I have to think about this.
He doesn't sign a lot of cards, right? So he should have.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's not a big signer. Oh, did you see what happened in my Mario Lemieux autograph during the week?
No, what happened?
I put a post. I needed some advice because I don't know a lot, as if you guys don't know this. On Instagram, I put a story up asking for some advice from the hobby. I said, there's a Mario Lemieux Parker's Champions base card autograph. The person wants $400 with best offer. I reached out because I've lost my 4 offers and they said 375 is the lowest they'll go. Why do you put that? Then put 375. It drives me nuts. Anyways, Levi, not Baba Louie. So I put a post on Instagram. I said, is 375 a good price for a Mario Lemieux autograph? 5 minutes later, someone bought the card. And I didn't even have the opportunity to go buy the card. So someone sniped it from my post. It was for sale for like 3.5 months. 3.5 months. This card was $400. Nobody bought it. 5 minutes. 5 minutes from my Instagram post. Someone bought the card. Jerkos. Anyways, so that happened to me. So apparently $400 is cheap for a Mario Lemieux autograph.
I was gonna say I would buy it. I'd get a Lemieux auto for $375.
It was for sale for almost 4 months. I didn't think it was a good deal. Anyways.
All right, Troy, you've had time to think. You have to answer the hobby.
I don't know. No, I don't. Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Good answer.
That's okay. You're allowed not to know. Instagram, GopherFan90. Which are better cards for collecting, in your opinion, Allure or Stature? We're going to start with Troy here.
Stature.
I think. Okay.
I'm going to interrupt Stature. But
Stature.
Go back to remember when you had Karn on? He would probably go Allure, right?
He was big on it being sort of the next OPG Platinum. Phil?
I like both. Josh, you turned me on Allure, but I'd probably pick Stature for my collection.
Yeah, Troy's terrified that Stature is not going to happen. But
I know I'm legit panicking because there hasn't been anything about it coming out again.
We'll see. Last question. We did it. It's a good one too. How do you guys display your collection? I've wanted to put something on my wall, but I'm scared to death of regular light and UV rays ruining my cards, especially my autos. So they are all stored in the dark, never to be seen. I know some display cases offer UV protected glass, but it's my understanding that protection degrades over time. What do you guys do? All right, Phil, I'll start with you here. Do you put anything on the wall?
I do not put cards on the wall. I would love to at some point, and I probably wouldn't worry too much about. I know Jeremy Lee freaks out about it. He's like, look, the disrespect of this card has been in the sunlight for 10 years and the auto is down 8%. Like, that doesn't bother me. I'm good. I would display my cards if I could.
What do you think,
well, here, let me do this. I'm going to show. I'm going to actually put the focus on me. How about that? So these are baseball cards, but this is how I have like 3 of these on my wall, these display cases, and I put cards that I really like. They're not valuable or they're not expensive. They're just cards I really like. I put them in these and I hang them on my wall. Now, my basement it's in the basement. There's no direct sunlight, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I really don't care. I just to me, they're art. That's how I look at it. They're like pieces of art. And I also have LED lights, which are supposed to be better for not, if they're autos, not disintegrating or fading the auto. But again, part of me, I just don't want to hide them away. These are cards I really like and I want to see them all the time. So I don't want to hide them. So
Have you guys seen there's a guy, Jeremy had him on his podcast. It almost looks like Star Trek. You put a card in a little case and it slides into a wall frame and it illuminates with an LED border. Slab rings or something. Yeah. I shared it in our group chat a few months ago.
we've seen the guy at the expo that does the frames.
No, it's like, but it's class more efficient than that.
Okay.
I'll share it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really refined.
Our boy Neil, he's the big hobby accessory guy. I'm sure he is.
Yeah, he's probably
Heard of
losing it right now. Oh, Phil, come on! I sent you the link.
Yeah, I'm kind of afraid to put nice stuff on the wall because of that. But sort of, I think the way Troy you do it is really good because you put them on a wall that isn't remotely even close to sunlight.
No,
in your
it's
basement.
just sitting in the basement in the dark until I turn the lights on.
Okay, personal pickups. Troy.
Nothing.
Oh, come on.
Sorry, I got Microsoft problems. I got baseball. Haven't had time. I mean, it's so funny at like baseball. So I'm there for what, 12 hours a day or something, and just constantly going off. This auction ending that I watched list, and I'm like trying to secretly kind of look at it, but I can't because I got to pay attention to what's going on.
I love my kids. I love my kids. I love my kids.
I want you to be like third base coach and trying to like buy a card while like there's a hit or something like that, and you give the wrong signals or that'd be amazing.
Troy, you're doing it wrong. You got to pretend like you're taking pictures. Be like, yeah, you're doing great. You're doing solid.
I know. It's been a while since I've bought hockey cards.
Phil.
Yeah.
All right, Troy, you want to throw it up there?
Yeah.
I got a goodie.
Boom.
Yeah.
I'm gonna zoom in.
The Dominator. Yeah. I got my
That's a
nice
sweet card.
exquisite auto. Thank you, boys. Yeah. Very happy. Took almost 7 weeks to get to my house from eBay. Yeah.
Whoa.
From the
Crazy.
so you bought
All
it
the
was
time.
from the US.
All the time.
Yeah.
This is the card I didn't get hit on customs. Nothing. Just go right to my mailbox. No problem. Yeah. Beautiful card. I love these exquisite cards. My collection's really growing. I've picked up a few that I have not shared. But I wanted to share this one. I got another one coming next week for next week's.
Are you saving them or are you keeping some private?
So this is what I would like to show on the wall. At some point,
Oh.
when I feel like the exquisite cards, so the patches would blend in nicely with the non-patches. And I feel like when I pull the trigger on my dream home and it gets built the way I want it to, and the office is the way I want my office to be, I'm going to have nice oak frames, and I want to put all my exquisite cards in those. Yeah.
You do something very bad. You make a very bad hobby crime.
What I do?
And I don't know. And your punishment is you can either never collect exquisite or Parker's Champions again, but you get to choose. Which one do you choose to never collect again?
Ooh, like for the rest of my life, forever and ever?
Yeah.
Oh, I would quit Parker's Champions.
Yeah, I knew that was going.
Yeah.
All right. I had 3 pickups. I guess illustrating my new love of Pacific. So I got this Fedorov. It's a 2000 Pacific Vanguard holographic purple auto.
I didn't say a word. What? I didn't say anything.
You hate everything. Well, at least I know you'll never steal my cards.
Yeah, we don't collect the same. Yeah.
Big poop on everything that I buy. I'm very supportive of your cards. I'm like, oh,
I know.
that's very nice, Phil.
I have a lot of cards to give you, Josh. If now that I know your style and more, I'm excited to give you a good stuff.
Yeah,
you're going to be very appreciative.
I like the glow.
Yeah, it's a great glow.
All right, now the next one Phil's going to hate is the 2014 Fleer Showcase Pavel Datsyuk red PMG out of 100.
It's a little.
These
noisy.
are better in hand. Yeah. And then this one confused me for a long time. I don't even know why I bought it, but it's a 2003 Pacific Pavel Bure.
Oh, you're contributing to the market now. There you
It's
go.
a 101.
Yeah, right
You
there.
see a little 101 there?
101.
Oh, I do. Yeah, look at
Yeah,
that.
it was $80. So I'm like, I don't know, Bure 101, Rangers legend Pavel Bure.
Did you do an all-time high record sale on
No,
it? I don't even know if it is. I'm gonna look now.
I'm pretty sure it's only couldn't have sold before. But yeah, you don't see too many Pavel Bure 101s. So I'm like, oh, I'll take it. Now it doesn't mean it's like special. I don't know. So yeah. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Crickets, yeah.
Is that Adam Graves? Oh, I was just trying to look up who that is beside Bure. It's not Adam Graves. I don't think.
34.
Yeah, I
his
don't
number?
know who that is. Tony
I don't
Amonte,
know.
maybe? I don't know. No, that's too old.
Well, if you like the show or episode or the show or both, please leave a rating review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, want to support us, want to chat with us on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, please consider a $5 a month donation. Join our $1.99 support level tier on Patreon. Link is in the show description. Whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us on a podcast app, it's in our Instagram, TikTok profiles. It's on our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, or on the Patreon website directly, patreon.com. We are on social media. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And boys, the Hockey Cards Gong Show is a production of Dollarbox Ventures LLC. We'll see you on Thursday.